If you've ever been excited at the end of a crazy week to finally be at Friday, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another edition of Benzinga's Market Edge Live. We're going to go ahead and break down the Fed decision yesterday. Fed cuts another 25 bips. And we're also going to break down a bunch of earnings. Earnings last night, earnings today, and a whole lot of stuff to go through ahead of the market open. So great to see everyone coming back. Let's go ahead and start off with the SPY. All right, so we are in full-on breakout mode here on the SPY. I got to be honest with you. If you had me try to make a call today on where we're going to go, I would not be shocked if the SPY tested 600 here today. Would not be shocked at all. 596 right now, really not that far away to begin with. There seems to be a lot of euphoria in the market. A lot of things are trading up. So I would not be shocked if we actually tested 600 here today. On top of that, I'm still kind of weary about the volume. I'm happy that I've seen the volume tick up a little bit these last 3 days. But when you actually compare that to, like, for example, right over here, August 5th, the 3-day rally in SPY has the same total volume as this 1 day. So despite where we're actually going with the price, despite being above some of these levels that we've had, despite breaking some of these trend lines, despite pushing to all-time highs, we're doing this on volume that is less than impressive. And we really want to see some of this volume kind of step up. And we'll see if we get that. Now, we did have a whole bunch of earnings. We've got more earnings coming up here, so we'll see what the market does. But so far here in the SPY, nice that we're trading up here. Really kind of low volume on these days, and I cannot help but wonder, when is the sell-off coming? At some point, this market is going to reset. At some point, we are going to come back in. I just can't tell you exactly when. We are going to go ahead and monitor that. We're going to use technicals to try and figure out when we're going to get that break. As far as the Fed decision yesterday, I'd like to hear what all you folks think about that, right? I'd like to know, what do you think about the Fed decision? Did they make the right decision? Should they have waited? Should they have cut more? What are you thinking about that? The Fed cut rate 25 bips. When Powell was asked about stagflation, he says, obviously, we're trying to avoid that. The labor markets have cooled a great deal. So it seemed all, okay. And I'll be honest, aside from the conversation with Gunlock, it really didn't seem like a lot of people kind of cared. It almost seemed like this cut was kind of on the back burner. So we'll see. SPY responded to it, or the market kind of responded to it. I almost feel like it's more a response to the election than it was the Fed. Seemed kind of muted. And again, just the overall volume here, really not that impressive. So let me know if you folks have any questions on the Fed. Where do we go next? What are we going to do next? Would love to kind of get a discussion going about that. When 13 gets in here this morning, we're definitely going to ask him about what he thought about the rate cut and all of that, and where we go from here. But blue skies here on the SPY. The one thing to keep in mind, the one thing to kind of watch as we continue to push up, and even if we get that 600 test today, frankly, if we print 600s today, if we test that and print that today, I would not be shocked if we kind of came in a little bit off that level. I don't really think that we're going to get a 600 breakout, a pop, and a big move above. We'll see if we can get it and hold it there. But one thing to keep an eye on here on the SPY chart is we are getting a little overcooked here on the RSI. Now, when we've seen that before, we've seen the market trade sideways. One of the other times where the RSI really kind of got high, we did pull back a little bit here. Looks like almost a 9% pullback over the course of 3 weeks. So we'll see if we get that type of pullback. We'll see if we get maybe a trade sideways here on the SPY. But again, 600 is what I'm kind of looking for in the near term. Once we get to 600, we'll figure out where the next spot we're going is. Neville, it's great to see you. Gary, Bernhard, Fairchild, Paul, and SR, good morning. Hope you all are well. Hope you all had a great day yesterday. And if you had any earnings plays from yesterday or this morning, good luck. I hope those worked out for you. Let me know if there are any stocks that you folks want to see. We'll go ahead and add that to the list here. I'm going to go ahead and I have a whole bunch of stocks that I want to run through. A lot of them reported earnings here. Actually, they all reported earnings. So I kind of want to run through those, see where the charts sit, see if there's a potential trade to be had on any of these names. But also, I want to do ticker time. I want to know what stocks you folks want to take a look at. What's on your watch list? What are you trying to trade here today? If they're based on any of the earnings or if they're based on the SPY or what the Fed is doing, I want to know about that too. So let's get those tickers out there. Let me know what it is that you want to see. Market movers, hang in there. Seems like that's, you know me, man. I'm gonna be doing this for the rest of my life. I'll make you a promise right here. Until the day I take my last breath, I will absolutely be following and analyzing the markets. That is just without a doubt. And as long as I have a group of like-minded people that want to talk about it, I'm going to be talking about it. So don't you worry about that. William, you want to take a look at BABA. We did have some news here out of China as well, and we are expecting more stimulus out of China. BABA added to the list. We will absolutely do that. Thank you. Thank you for suggesting that. Looks like China stocks actually pulling back here today, so we'll see if that sets up for a potential trade in the regular session. Roku also being added to the list. Let's do that. Nothing but charts. Dennis and Joel are off doing their own thing. This is the first week of the new show. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into everyone's favorite report, DraftKings. They, of course, reported last night. DraftKings here trading down by about 5%. DraftKings shares trading lower after the company reported worse than expected Q3 revenue results and issued fiscal year 24 guidance. We take a look here. This was mixed earnings. They actually trimmed their guidance a little bit, which is one of the reasons that this is trading down. Really seems like the stocks that either missed a little bit or had bad news on guidance. Those stocks really kind of got punished. Gary, you want to take a look at the Carvana floating island? Let's do that. Let's absolutely do that. Thank you for adding that to the list as well. As far as DraftKings goes, the monthly unique players figure dipped in the third quarter. This has been difficult. This has been a difficult fantasy sports season. I actually saw another report here today that said some of the results of the NFL slate were fan friendly. And unfortunately, I didn't get much of a description on what fan-friendly means. To be quite honest with you, I've been following the NFL for a long time, and I've been betting the NFL for a number of years here. This year, it seems like there's a lot more unpredictability, and I don't just mean with individual teams. I mean with things that are out of your control, like injuries and things of that nature. So not sure exactly what they mean, but it seems like it's been more difficult to me. Maybe just I'm on the wrong side of that. The other thing that they cited there is that sometimes you've probably seen this in fantasy sports before. When teams are out of it, they become less active. It seems like DraftKings is kind of going through that as well. Stock is much better to trade in the lead up to the post Super Bowl earnings here. So again, let's take a look at the calendar here. They just reported earnings here, November 7th. Their next earnings date is unconfirmed. It's estimated for February 13th. That's going to be right after the Super Bowl. They do this every year. There's always, an idea to trade this for the NFL playoffs and for the Super Bowl. Those results are mixed. So I think that our better opportunity here, really just kind of stick with the chart, stick with the technicals, and trade it that way. So that's pretty much what's going on here with DraftKings. If we take a look at the chart, we can see exactly where we are. Looks like we went right to the 200-day. We kind of stopped there. So if we look inside here, we traded down off the report. The buy the dippers stepped back in, and we pretty much just stayed flat. So that's important because, as you can see right where we're at, we're right under this 200-day. Now, could things change? Sure. The last time that we broke above the 200-day, we actually got a nice little multi-day move, and then it kind of came back in, broke the 200-day, and has really been trying to get above that since. So we'll see if this has any strength to get above that 200-day. For levels above, if we do break that, let's go ahead and figure those out here together. So if we snap the 200-day, first level that we're taking a look at here is going to be about 42. I've got it marked at 42.06, but the reality is that's pretty much 42. Then we really want to take a look at this level in here. It's going to be 45.5. Now, you could say that maybe 44.5 might be one of those levels, but honestly, this looked like a much tougher resistance. This actually looked like kind of a janky head and shoulders formation here. Shoulder, head, shoulder, and then we resolved lower. So it looks like that's over, especially with the pullback to the 500-day moving average. These levels on the upside are exactly what we want to be looking for. And then obviously we want to get this breakout of, let's call it 50. I know I have it marked here at 49.5. That round number is going to absolutely provide some type of resistance. So we want to see if this can break above 50. First thing here, recapture of the 200-day. And I want to see if the volume kind of follows with this. The other thing that I really like about this recapture of the 200-day, it's not as if we're on some, huge overbought streak here. We're really kind of right in no man's land with RSI. So if we do take that 200-day, maybe kind of close above that, maybe have a sideways day after that, it would be a prime position for this to go north. 200-day there at 39.50. And again, some of our levels here, 42 and 45.5. So really good stuff there with DraftKings. We'll see if we end up getting a trade on that. I don't think there was anything else here. Yeah, short interest is there, but fairly negligible. There wasn't really any crazy insider stuff on this. So there you go with DraftKings. We'll see if we get a trade here today. Also, this can be kind of especially right after earnings, this can be kind of a volatile one in the next session. So we'll see if we get any day trading opportunities with this as well. All right, next here, we're going to go to everyone's favorite. Well, I shouldn't say everyone's favorite. I guess Tesla's everyone's favorite EV name. But we will go to Rivian. And yes, I will add Sezzle. That was a Tim Melvin momentum pick, by the way. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But Sezzle added to the list there, Bree. No problem at all. All right, Rivian. Rivian also reported earnings yesterday. And here, let me go to the news feed. You can see miss on the top and the bottom line. Not great. Rivian still losing over $1 billion a quarter here. It still loses money. That's really going to be the trouble here. The Volkswagen PR that we got about Volkswagen investing in Rivian, that has been pretty much completely deleted at this point. When is this company going to make money? That's really what it comes down to. If we take a look inside here, you can see as soon as the earnings report was released, we dipped. We actually went higher. Then we came all the way back to balance. We're actually slightly lower or pretty much at flat from where we closed yesterday. The one thing to keep in mind here with Rivian on this report, if we really don't sell off here, it's possible that this actually is a bottom. Really convenient for us as the number is a nice round number there at 10. That would actually make a pretty decent trade here. So kind of looking at a trade, if Rivian doesn't break down here today, we can maybe make our stop 975, 950, whatever you're comfortable with on the risk side. And then we have some targets above here on the with using the moving averages. It would be great to clear out that 50-day, get a close above it. The 200-day is next, the 100-day after that. And you can see in Rivian, if we can get up into this consolidation area, this is going to be between, let's call it 13 and 14 and a half. If we can break out from that consolidation area, that would really be great. Really, really tough here with Rivian. I know a lot of people really like the car itself. I would issue caution on that. Lucid, it would be what I would point to. I think the Lucid car is the best looking EV. It's one of the fastest EVs, really sharp, a lot of great technology, but the stock is an absolute dog. So the truck itself or the product itself, not necessarily connected to the stock, at least not yet. Those things can change. So Rivian, this is all going to be about it losing money, still loses $1 billion a quarter. James, good morning, James. Great to see you burning, or great to see you waking up with the early birds here. Rivian, not a Trump play. They need funding to succeed. We'll see what they get, and we'll see what happens here with some of the EVs. I know one of the thoughts out there is, well, with Tesla and Elon probably being a part of the administration, what does that mean for other EV companies? Are they going to be out of favor, et cetera, et cetera? So we'll have to just watch and see. Watch this $10 level, though. I think if we're able to hold that, you might be able to have a short-term long on this trade. The other thing that we really want to see fall here, this is just kind of a nasty trend. I know I'm kind of drawing it a little bit janky because of right up here. This downtrend here still intact. This goes all the way back to the end of the summer last year. We really need to clear that downtrend out. Harris saying, can you talk about Lucid as well? They had earnings yesterday, popped nicely, but coming back in this AM. Yeah, I actually didn't have that on my list, but since you asked, and since we're already talking about an EV, why don't we go ahead and jump right into Lucid? Here's what I meant when I was just saying about the stock is an absolute dog. I mean, this thing is in a downtrend. This thing is in a downtrend since the end of 2021. Just really has no strength at all. This actually recently broke some of its recent lows and has now set some new lows here. So it looks like $2 is going to be the low end of the range. RSI here pretty much in oversold territory. I know we just kind of popped back over that oversold boundary, but for all intents and purposes, we're still in oversold territory here on Lucid. You wanted to take a look at the earnings. This was a beat in the top and the bottom line. EPS is a 28-cent loss. That's versus the 30-cent loss estimate, so pretty much in line there. Sales $200 million beats the sales figure of $197 million. That was the estimate. Again, kind of in line there. Not a huge beat. Not a whole lot, not a whole lot of optimism there. Stock is up here 3.5%. Maybe we get a trade on that today, but I wouldn't hold your breath. Production numbers: Lucid produces 1,805 vehicles, delivers 2,781, making it a 90.9 increase year over year. On track for annual production targets of 9,000 vehicles. To be quite honest with you, I think it's probably these projections or these forward projections for the reason the stock being green here today. That would just be my guess. Let's see. On track to produce 9,000 vehicles in 2024. So looks like they're going to make that. Now, as far as trading this, we want to take some levels. Let me actually clear some of these. There we go. We just need that 500 off. Big thing here, we really need to confirm a bottom. That's kind of my biggest issue here. There really, every time that this thing looks like it's putting in a bottom, even off this area right here, it inevitably goes lower. We'll see if we can kind of hold this area. If we do, the upside's very clear here. 250 for sure is going to be one. That's going to be your 20-day moving average. If we can get above that, I would call this maybe 275 to 290. I guess we'll encompass that entire wick. If we can clear out this area, I think you have a gap fill up here to 328. That does look pretty enticing. The other thing is if we get that type of move here on Lucid, you're going to end up taking out several moving averages. And if you get a close or maybe even 2 or 3 closes above some of these moving averages, giddy up, that could make this for a pretty nice short-term trade. So let me know if this was helpful on Lucid. Harris, if there was something else that you wanted to cover from Lucid, we can go ahead and dive into it. Thanks for the suggestion, though. And appreciate you. Okay. Next, let's do, where was I on the list? Rivian. Okay. Next, let's do everyone's favorite sector, cannabis. Ticker CGC, Canopy Growth Company, reporting earnings today. Have the conference call here at 10 a.m. So we'll see what happens when they have the conference call. But CGC here, top and bottom line beat, and the stock is just about flat. Well, it was flat earlier. What happened here? So it was flat earlier. It looks like we've kind of drifted down a little bit more. We didn't have any other new news, did we? Nope. Sees positive earnings ahead thanks to cost savings. So that's exactly what we wanted to see here. Unfortunately, the stock not responding positively to this as we're drifting a little bit lower. If you want to look for a potential trade, maybe put this one on your watch list. We've seen some of these that drift lower end up having a pretty substantial move out of the open. Maybe we'll get that here on CGC. The reality here is that the bigger story, really kind of the big thing that's going to allow all these stocks to really go, is going to be federal legalization. I know in the most recent election here, several states had marijuana on the ballot. I really don't think it did all that well. I know in Florida, it did not pass. I think North Dakota was another one that had it. It did not pass. So I don't think that everyone is ready for this yet. Still, though, the catalyst here, the big catalyst here, federal legalization. And until that gains some serious steam, I think some of any type of pops that we get are likely to be short-term in nature. If you have a long-term approach on this, the only thing that I would say is that there is likely going to be rounds of dilution between now and when this ends up working, or when we do get that federal legalization, which I think is coming at some point in the future. You're going to risk dilution. You're going to have headline risk. So it's really up to you. You're really going to have to kind of consult your own risk profile here if this is a long-term hold. Now, the one thing to note about CGC specifically is that this actually has some pretty popular brands under its umbrella, and that actually might help it and might make it a little less volatile. So one of the things that we noticed here in the report is that Stores and Bickle plus 32% in year-over-year gains there. Stores and Bickle, for those of you that don't know, make the premier vaporizer. It's called the Volcano. They have several other vaporizers that they make. It's expensive, high-margin product. And it's often billed as the safest way to consume cannabis outside of eating it. So we are seeing some gains in the Stores and Bickle bucket there. Maybe that's going to be enough, but I lean on the fact that until cannabis is federally legalized, these stocks are probably going to carry a significant amount of risk, and we really don't know what the timetable is for this to make money. So again, just kind of factory it into your risk plan. What is your time horizon? How long are you willing to hold some of this? Some of the other brands here, just in case, just to kind of keep your eyes and ears open for this. Some of the other brands that includes is Doja, 7 Acres, Tweed, Deep Space, and its non-THC products include skincare products under Martha Stewart's CBD and Stores and Bickle vaporizers, which we already talked about, seeing some sales outperformance in this recent report. So CGC has some pretty popular brands in there. Again, this has been a really tough trade. I do think there will be a trade in the future, but it's been very, very difficult to predict when that will actually materialize. As far as how is this affecting some of the other cannabis names, you can see really not a whole lot here. Aurora Cannabis, ticker ACB. Pretty much flat, down very little here. Tilray, everyone's favorite cannabis stock, almost no change on that. So doesn't look like any of the other cannabis stocks are reacting to CGC. Let's see how it does around the opening print. All right, next on the list, I have ticker U. This is going to be Unity Software. And this one was really interesting because here we go. We're right at that 200 days. So Unity, it does look like it kind of put in a bottom here on the chart. This is actually a pretty decent formation. Generally speaking, bottoms are messy like this. They're not total V bottoms. And so this is exactly what we're seeing here. And on top of that, we're doing a really good job kind of holding some of these moving averages and then pushing away from them. Now, here we go with let's go back into the 1 minute chart here. You can see with the earnings yesterday, we actually popped up to 25 and we've been drifting lower here today. So top and bottom line beat. The other thing that we got here is a new CFO on Unity. In fact, let me go to the news feed because I think we also got a Needham price target. Unity price target raised to 15 from 10 at benchmark. And I believe Needham maintains its buy and raises the price target to 26. So I know we're ahead of the benchmark price target, but that Needham price target still looking pretty good. Unity here, one of the things at 2150 here in the pre-market, one of the things that I'm looking for here today, what do we do with this 200 day? I have that value at 2198, and I really want to see Unity kind of close above that, maybe kind of consolidate above this 200 day. And then if that happens, I think the next move is probably a move towards this 500 day. There might also, and that 500 day, by the way, is at 28.85, so just about 29. The other areas in here that might produce some type of resistance on the way up to that $29 area, right here at 25. This was a previous support from Unity from earlier this year in the spring, and I would imagine we're going to have some resistance on the way up. Okay. All right. Let's good morning. Great to see a whole bunch of people here. I'm very much hopeful about you. You're not alone. There's a lot of people that are hopeful about Unity. And like I said, hopefully this bottom holds here. If we can kind of move above some of these moving averages, should be good for the stock. Okay. Next one here is going to be Block or Square or whatever you call it. It is going to be ticker SQ. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Square, it's a mixed report. They beat EPS and they missed on sales. We can actually go to the news feed here and check that out. So there we go. Missed on EPS, or excuse me, beat on EPS, missed on sales. Needham with its price target to $90. Cowen went to 95 and RBC went to 88. So current price here, 74.60. We're just down a little bit on this earnings report, and there are a lot of price targets above on this. Now, if we take a look at the chart, where do we sit? Okay, a couple of things here, really, really important. First of all, I know we're going to talk about an island here on Carvana. We're going to do that in a little bit, but for right now, this is kind of a similar formation. It didn't really pop into a new area, and it didn't really have the juice that I was looking for, but nonetheless, might be kind of an area of support here today. So if block gets any type of buying action here today, we might have a trade on our hands. First target there would be 78 for your short-term trade. As far as investing in this goes, or as far as the long-term goes here, I would imagine this would probably trade with the consumer. If the consumer is out shopping and retail shops are using this a lot, and there's the percentage fee on each swipe, probably going to be good for the next earnings. If the consumer tightens their wallet and really doesn't spend as much, I could see that adversely affecting block. So we'll see what happens here with ticker SQ. Okay. Crimp Biscuit, Ryan, love the changes, broadens the group size. That's great. That's actually really good feedback, Crimp Biscuit. The one thing that I've learned over the course of my career here is that the broader you cast your net, the more like gold nuggets, if you will, you're going to find in that, right? So the more different viewpoints that we can get here on stocks and markets should benefit us in the long run. So really good to hear that. Really, really good to hear that. Okay. Next on the list here, I have Affirm. I also saw app getting added. Let me go ahead and do that because we will probably talk about, there's some extremely outsized moves going on with some of these right now. So I'm sure we'll talk about app, but let's keep moving on here. Affirm going to be the next earnings report here. That's ticker AFRM. This buy now, pay later, this really has me scared. Personally, I don't think that buy now, pay later is the way to go, but seems to be getting more and more popular here. Top and bottom line beat last night for Affirm. We're trading up here 1.75% this morning. We also had a guidance boost. We also have a new CFO here. It's growing faster than the e-commerce market in general, which I guess I didn't realize. Seems like more and more people are using buy now, pay later. I would just kind of throw out a word of caution on that. I think that can end poorly, especially if there's more turmoil ahead with the economy or with people's purchasing power. We'll see if that ends up materializing here. But growing faster than the general e-commerce market, pretty crazy. And on top of that, this thing also a double in very short order. This stock was $22 at the low on August 5th. And here we are today at 49.5. So more than a double in just several months. The other thing to look at going forward here, a breakout of this 50. I'm going to call this 50 to 53 because these round numbers really do seem to provide areas of resistance. Now we do have like this candle that goes up to like 52 and change. Maybe we'll call it 52.50. So 50 to 52.50, your next significant area of resistance. In fact, the last really good run that Affirm had, this is the area that stopped it. And this area also goes back to March of 2020. And January of 2020. This is a former support level, turned resistance, and as a long-term line. So for Affirm here, this $50 area going to be really important for short-term trades. We'll see if we end up getting above that there. Ken Horn saying, buy now, pay later is how debt is created. LOL. Indeed. And again, I really don't want to see, people having a ton of debt levels that are going to be hard to deal with. And then bang, all of a sudden there's an emergency that affects a large portion of the country. Oh my, that would really, really be terrible. I think you would see reverberations for a long time if something like that happens. So again, I'm skeptical on this. I don't use this service myself, but got to be honest about the stock here. Stock approaching a potential breakout and or resistance level. Okay, let me go ahead and add MERA to the list. Paul will definitely take a look at MERA. We'll take a look at some of the other Bitcoin names here as well. Just a quick check-in on Bitcoin because I didn't do that earlier. I'm sorry. Bitcoin here down just under 1%, 76,500 on the Bitcoin futures. So having a little bit of weakness here this morning, but nothing out of the ordinary And this actually looks like kind of a near-term support level. So we'll see how that ends up working out here. But that's Affirm. Let me know if you folks have anything on Affirm. Okay, next here is going to be Pins, ticker PINS. This is Pinterest, and it is having a rough morning here. Pinterest down 11%. This is actually up off the lows from earlier. From yesterday here, 28 was the low. So it looks like we are several points up off the lows. I suppose that's good to see here. Pinterest shares trading lower after company reported worse than expected Q3 EPS results. It was a mixed report. They had light guidance. They mentioned that ad revenue was weak. They maintained double-digit active user growth, though. So that is the silver lining here with Pinterest. And then the other thing that you can see here is that these recent support levels that we came into, we really didn't break. So this double bottom down here at 28.5 did a really good job holding. We're really not in any danger of testing that level today unless something else changes, unless there's some type of real negative sentiment here on Pinterest that causes this to sell down. We should be safe on there. So now kind of looking at this for a potential trade setup, I'll be honest with you, I don't necessarily understand Pinterest. Of all of the social media companies, and I guess I consider myself a boomer, so maybe I'm not the best person to ask about social media companies, but of all of them, the one that I understand the least is Pinterest. So not something that I would necessarily trade unless I had a really good conviction on it. But as far as a trade here, you actually have a pretty decent setup, pretty straightforward. I think your stop can really kind of be 28. Let's call entry here 30 to 30.5. Stop at 28. Let's actually just draw this position on here real quick. That way we can always come back to it. So here, I'm going to go ahead, add entry right here. I'm going to put support right down here at 28. And then I'm going to put the target right at the 200-day. That's simple. Now we have a almost 3-to-1 risk to reward here. The actual calculation here is 2.89. So if you're looking for a trade here, this is kind of how I would trade it, right? Looking at the 28 on the downside, and then what do we have? 36, which is that 200-day on the upside. Looks like actually if we're able to break that, we might even gap fill up to 37 and change. So this is how I would structure a long trade. Although full disclosure here, this is not something that I'm going to put my money behind. That's what I got for you on Pinterest. Okay. I'll be on Pins. Mark, let me know how you're trading that. Let me know how it goes. Let me know what the actual trading activity looks like, how it feels to you. Definitely keep me posted here on Pinterest. But this is the trade idea that I have based on where the chart's at and with the earnings binary event now out of the way. Okay, next here, we're going to do Airbnb. This is ticker ABNB. And you guys are probably all familiar with Airbnb here. Down almost 7%. Airbnb shares are trading lower after the company reported worse than expected Q3 financial results. It was a top and bottom line miss. The total revenue was higher by 10% year over year. And they also said that they're seeing strong demand in Q4. So maybe some of the winter vacations out and around ski resorts, or maybe just some tropical destinations to get away from the cold. Who knows? But strong demand here in Q4. Also, they mentioned in their report that their nights and experiences line was up 8% year over year. Now, I'm going to need some help from you folks. Does anyone know what the nights and experiences line is? Have you used this before? Would be really curious to know. Notice that was in the report here. They also said that they're expecting nights and experiences to be higher next quarter. So an 8% year over year growth already. They're expecting it to be higher next quarter. We'll see what that does here. This was kind of a tough trade here yesterday because Airbnb was extremely strong yesterday. Had this nice power candle here. Looks like this was a 4.58%. Traded up about $6.50. That closed us above the 200-day moving average. And then yikes. Today we get absolutely slammed beneath it. If you take a look inside at the actual price action here, you'll notice that Airbnb's first move was a trade up, gave everything back, drifted lower in the after hour session, and then this morning actually took another small leg lower. So kind of rough to see here on Airbnb. We'll see if this can turn around. Just gave you some stats out of the earnings report there, but that's what's going on here with Airbnb. As far as potential trade ideas here, I want to let this kind of shake out, right? 137 is where it's at right now. So pretty much just retrace this candle. Does it hold a 20-day moving average? Does it want to test a level lower as it's kind of showing us here in the pre-market? We'll see what happens as the day progresses here. But Airbnb, what I'd be looking for on the long side here is a fairly quick recapture of that 200-day. So does it trade back up here today? Maybe today, Monday, and Tuesday? Do we get a quick recapture of that 200-day? If we do get that, I think you could probably swing this long. I think it will probably show you that it's got some upside momentum, right? They already took it over the 200-day once on general market strength. When it dipped beneath it, it reclaimed it quicker. Binary event is out of the way, and there were some positives from that report as well. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here on Airbnb, and that's what's going on. Next one on the list is going to be the trade desk. This is ticker TTD. And I'll tell you what, last time I was trading the trade desk, I was really waiting for this $100 breakout. You can see we actually ran up to this 1, 2, 3 times before retesting the 200-day and then coming right back up to 100 and finally breaking out of it. We broke out of it, we back tested it, and then we continued to run away. Now we're but prior to the report, we were really extended from that 200-day with the report here. Top and bottom line beat. The stock looked priced really, really well. Stock's down 10.5% here on the trade desk. So I kind of want to let this shake out. I want to see what level it kind of solidifies at. You'll notice we are almost about $1.50 beneath the 20-day moving average. That would be one of the first areas to really kind of take over. So we'll see if we get that here on the trade desk. Sadaf saying, I really like the confidence of Airbnb management. I don't think their quarter was very bad. I'm doubtful about their co-hosting feature that they're trying to roll out, but overall, I think it's a buy. Good morning, Vintage Tool Restorations. If you feel that way, and I'll go back to that chart here real quick. If you feel that way, Sadaf, then I really think that a 200-day reclaim here would be ideal for your trade. If you're positive on the long-term implications here and you really don't think that this report was that bad, then this report getting bought back up would be really great. And technically, if we can move above some of these areas, should be all set with one of those trades. So we'll see. Again, we'll see how this shakes out here. And again, let me know on that Nights and Experiences if anyone has used that in the past. Otherwise, we're going to keep rolling here. Now, let's get to the tickers that you folks wanted to take a look at. We are going to start with BABA. That was the first one on the list here. So Alibaba down 3.85% here today. You can see exactly where we were at. We just pretty much got rejected at that 20-day moving average. And then the move down here today takes us below the 50-day moving average, currently holding here at about 96.25. Take a look inside the news here. One of the news pieces here, as Trump returns to the White House, China plans new stimulus package to protect economy from U.S. trade policies. So we'll see here if that stimulus policy ends up being a boost for all of these Chinese stocks. BABA would be on that. Baiynd would be on that. Yin and Yang, of course, the ETFs that play to the bear and bull side would be on that. And then there's a lot of small kind of China micro caps that might also benefit from stimulus here. So as far as BABA goes, I really think that this is tied to the stimulus that we are expecting. So I apologize. I can't remember who asked about this earlier. Let me see if I can go up and find that. Roku BABA. It was William. William, you had asked about BABA. So the one thing that I'll say here is that you definitely want to pay attention to those stimulus headlines. How the stocks, I believe, are waiting for that. So if we don't get that news, or if the stimulus is not as big as we thought, I actually think there's some risk to the downside there. But if we do get stimulus designed to really kind of fight off Trump's China policies, then I think that these stocks could actually do pretty well in the near term. We saw the last time, this last move here was going to be on China's stimulus. So if we get another one, maybe we get these stocks to all trade up here on BABA. Again, what I'd be looking at for really kind of gappy on this chart, right? Really kind of gappy, and we have a number of moving averages, a significant distance beneath us, at least 10 points beneath the current price here. We did just lose the 50. So honestly, if we lose this area here, which is going to coincide with one of the previous gaps on the way up, as well as the bottom of the candle from November 6th, if we lose this, let's call it 94 3/4, we lose that area, 94 3/4 to 94 1/2. I think you probably fill the gap to the downside here at about $90. Again, we're going to have to wait and see, and a lot is going to be determined by the stimulus here. Okay, so that's it with BABA. Next one on the list here was Roku. Okay, Roku looks like this is down fractionally here, but at a really interesting point. We didn't have anything recent on Roku, right? No, it looks like we did. Okay, so let me actually check the insiders here. Interesting. So we did have some recent insider selling, and this actually looks like this started here maybe a little bit in the end of the summer, but it looks like it really kind of started here in the fall. These options I try not to put too much stock into. I mean, if you have options and you're selling them, that might just be kind of raising capital. But the stock's a little bit different here. So starting September 13th, the president of Roku Media is selling stock. The CFO sold stock twice. The CEO and chairman sold stock, and the vice president sold stock. So recent insider selling here on Roku might be kind of driving this down. That might have been what this last sell-off was for. What I will say here is on this last move down, we did a great job around the 200-day. So about one of the stocks that I was just talking about here, this is what I mean about a 200-day reclaim. So this blue line here, this is your 200-day moving average. The current value is 66.06. You can see what happened here. The stock drops beneath this, and then within very short order reclaims it. And so I'm not then surprised to see a move higher here. Roku sitting at 71.5 right here. So really not breaking down to this candle level yet. I would say 70 is going to be really important. And otherwise, we have the 50-day moving average and the 20-day moving average converging right above it. So this area right in here, to my eye, looks pretty important. I'm going to call that 73.5, right? 73.50. This is going to be an amalgam of the recent support level from the October 23rd candle, as well as the 50-day moving average and the 20-day moving average on Roku. Okay. Next one here, Carvana. And Gary, this one is for you. Wanted to talk about that floating island, and here we go. Thumbs up. Good to go. Bang. It's also time for 13. 13, good morning, my man. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Just a little sad though. I was watching that football game yesterday, and here we are with another casualty to the officials not catching some crucial game-ending, penalties there. I don't know, man.
The failed 2-point conversion. I watched. So full disclosure,
that was a bad call, by the way.
Full disclosure, I fell asleep. I was a bit tired last night, so I fell asleep and missed the ending. But the first thing I did when I woke up this morning at 4:45 was I checked out the end of that game. And I might disagree with you a little bit on the call to go for 2. You're trying to win that game, right?
No, we're on the same page. I think that was a bad call. You think that was a bad call to go for 2? I think they should have just gone the extra point and taken overtime.
No, see that I'm on the other side of that. I think that they should have gone for 2 to try to win the game. They were unable to execute it. I will say though, on that play 13, I saw 2 different instances that should have been called penalties that were not called penalties. And then because of the way the result went, you're probably right, man. They probably should have just kicked it.
Yeah, the holding and the roughing the passer.
Yeah.
No anyway.
Good. Okay,
let's back to trading.
Anyway, we got our sports there done a little bit. I will say I was so close to winning some parlays yesterday too. I was so close and just didn't quite get it. One of my parlays, I was 12 yards short from Derrick Henry, and Ravens were not running the ball early on. But I digress. Let's talk about Carvana here real quick. So Gary, you had asked specifically about the floating island formation. So I'm going to just kind of recap that real quick for viewers here. If you're not familiar with the floating island formation, you have a candle that pushes into a new area. Now, this depends on where you're looking at your chart, right? So if I back out here on Carvana, this is an area the price has been in before back in 2021, but it's been several years. And so if we zoom in here, this price pushed into a new area and then kind of came back in and back tested that area. Now, Gary, I will say here, generally speaking, the line of demarcation, or what I use to measure this, is going to be the bottom end of the candle. So technically, we did break this. But again, very much like we were looking at with some of those moving averages, we reclaimed it in very, very short order. So be careful. Make sure you assess your risk ahead of this trade, and please prioritize your downside prior to the gains on this trade. But yes, there could be a potential floating island trade here. So let's go ahead and draw it out on the chart. Let's say your entry is right where the price is now. I had that at 241.05. Price is currently 241.43. And let's focus on the downside first. All right. So we're going to kind of do one of these. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to be a little bit more conservative with this. Carvana can be kind of a wild stock. It can move like crazy. So again, the downside risk here, you're really going to have to come up with that yourself and your own trading here. But this is what I'm looking for here. I'm basically looking at the bottom end of this candle. I'm going to give it a little bit of room past the body, but I'm not going to go all the way down to the bottom of the wick. I'm just not going to do that. So here, our downside is now well defined. The upside on the floating island, this is really where your trading ability is going to take over, because this is, generally speaking, this is what you're looking for. Maybe a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1 risk to reward. This upside price is 315. That is significantly higher than where we're at right now. In fact, I might even just kind of bring this in a little bit just to be a little more conservative, stick with the same theme here. There we go. 296.55. Maybe look on a possible trade up towards 300 here. This is how I would structure that trade using the floating island. Now, I will say this is not the strongest island formation, so keep that in mind when you're structuring this trade. But Gary, let me know if this is helpful. This is how I would do that. This is how I would approach my risk and reward. And really quickly here, because we had another stock that was kind of forming this candle here, I'll go ahead and do the same thing here. Palantir. When we had this huge pop, this is a better floating island formation. Because again, if I go, let me just actually reset this chart real quick. If I go on the weekly, you can see we are at new all-time highs here. So once we go back to the daily, this candle pushed into a price area that the stock has never been in. So what we were looking for here is a potential regression back to the bottom of that candle. That's at just about 48 bucks. We didn't get that on Palantir. We continued to push higher. Now, if we come back in, I'm really not going to give it any room past the bottom of this candle. If it holds right here at 48 bucks, that could be a long trigger here. But we've discussed a lot about Palantir. We've discussed the RSI being completely overcooked. We've discussed the price to earnings ratio, which seems to go higher every day. When we first talked about this, it was 101, then 131, and now 137 on the price to earnings. The stock is expensive, so we really kind of want to be careful on some of these. But this is the other floating island setup that I'm kind of looking for, and this one should have a little bit more strength as this popped to a new area. Okay, that was Carvana. I only have a couple more here, 13, and then we'll take a look at anything that you find interesting and also the movers. Another one here was Sezzle, and I'm glad that you brought this up. Again, I think this was Ken that brought this up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm extremely excited that this is what we're talking about here today. Sezzle was given out as a momentum play. I think about a month ago now, maybe 3 weeks ago. Several weeks to a month ago, Sezzle was given out as a momentum play about right in here, right? It was about right at this breakout as we started to cross through it. I think it was like 175 to 180. Stock is $250 now. Big shout out to Tim Melvin, whose momentum indicators are really phenomenal. Gave this one out live on live trading, this continuing to move higher here. At this point, gotta think you got to be thinking about lightening your position, right? Getting some of these gains booked. These candles back here way back in 2021, I don't know. We'll see if we get back up there. This thing really kind of popping. Pay yourself on the way up. If you want to hold a trailer because you want to be in this long term, I totally get it. Just make sure you have some gains booked on that.
With that guidance, I mean, there's a lot of room for growth, but I agree that that's a little bit extended. It should see some cooling off, but this company looks like it's going to be moving higher over a longer period of time.
I don't know if you saw this, but B. Riley went from 163 to 353 on the price target. B. Riley, yeah, that same company that might end up going out of business. So there you go, huge price target.
Always a solid opinion from them.
What's that?
Always a solid opinion from them.
Always a solid opinion. So okay, so there you go on Sezzle. This has been a big winner for our group. Congrats to anyone that took that. I don't have any position on this long term or anything like that. So if you folks are trading it, you'll have to let me know. But this was a huge winner for our group. So really happy that you end up bringing that one up. Okay, next here on the list was App. This is App Lovin', Nick Lovin', whatever you call it. Oh my God, what a move here. Hey, let's talk about floating islands for a third time on a third particular stock. This thing was—
That's a meteor.
A meteor. This thing was up 46.3% on the back of its earnings yesterday. Just an absolute monster pop here. You know what we might do? We might actually ask Anne-Marie for a potential options trade on this too. A little preview for you. Stick around at 11 when we have Anne-Marie on. We'll see if we can set up a trade that will give out using multi-leg options to kind of keep your risk low and give you some opportunity to make some money here. However, just sticking with the floating island theme, what I'd really like to see here, pull this stock back to 230 and hold. If this stock does come into 230 and kind of hold there, I would take some here for a long trade. My target then would be 256 and a breakout above. Now, if you're going to take a trade like that, again, one of the things you're really going to have to do is think about your risk. Make sure that you think about your risk. So let's call entry here right at 230.74. Gosh, easy for me to say. And now let's go ahead and adjust some of these risk parameters. So let's do maybe this, and let's put this right at the top here. Maybe kind of tighten this up a little bit. This would be kind of how I trade it, about a 3-to-1 risk to reward here. So I'd be very tight on a break of the bottom of that candle, and I'd be looking for a move back up to the top end of the wick of that candle here. This, as it's set up, 3.9 risk to reward ratio. You can adjust that to make it fit your own trading plan here. But just an absolutely crazy move. Look at the volume stick that we had yesterday. Just what the biggest that I can see here. Oh, you know what? Never mind. So the volume stick from Friday, December 3rd, 2021 was the only day that this stock traded more volume than yesterday. The only day. So there you go. Last one here on the list. And then we'll turn it over to you, Third King. I'd be curious to see what you're looking for here. MERA. This is another one. So another quick check-in on Bitcoin. Last time we took a look at Bitcoin, it was at like 76,500. 76,900 now. So it looks like we're kind of trading up off the bottom here in the pre-market area. Bitcoin kind of turning around. I'd be curious to see what MERA is doing here. This is a great spot on the daily. We'll come back to that. MERA looks like just slightly lower here in the pre-market, but this daily, let's go. We pushed up to the 200-day. You can see with the wicks above, we've really struggled to break above the 200-day. What that signals to me is that when we do finally knock this wall down higher, we are going to go here on MERA. This level, the level to watch. It's 19.20 on the daily. The current price is 19.19. We are right there. MERA definitely on deck here today. Earnings in 4 days on MERA. So they're going to report Tuesday, November 12th after the close. So if you're going to have any type of trade that you don't want to expose yourself to the binary event of earnings, make sure that you have that trade closed off by Tuesday, November 12th. Okay. We got through the entire list with 7 minutes to spare. I got to say, you folks really did it here today. It looks like you were throwing out some more stocks too. It looks like DJT is getting mentioned. We haven't, I'll tell you what, this has kind of been a disappointment. There's really no other way to put it. This has kind of been a disappointment since he won the election, since he became the president-elect is the proper way to say that. It's really kind of traded down. It's just kind of been straight down. Now, today in the pre-market, we're getting a little bit of a pop. Please notice that this pop is really kind of settling at yesterday's intraday lows. This is definitely going to be an area here. I've got this at 27.95. Let's call it 28 just to make it easy. If the stock can continue to trade above 28 and build, maybe we will have a day trade to the long side here today on ticker DJT.
I'd like to see the 50-day SMA get provide support first. that would look better
Okay.
to me.
So basically you would like this to kind of continue to shake out some of the weak hands down to that $24 level, which is where that 50-day is. That also lines up pretty nicely with the 500-day, which, by the way, folks, I affectionately call the 500-day the Joe moving average. So there you go. But that you're right, 13. That would actually be a pretty decent area if this continues to show weakness. So I would say 28 breakout. Maybe you'll have some short-term juice there. Otherwise, maybe wait for this to come into 24. Really good stuff there.
Yeah, I would be careful. I mean, this is going to be great for day trading, but this isn't something I would be holding on to ever. And especially with the way the daily MACD looks, it looks like there's still some more downside ahead. So I do like that 50-day, 500-day SMA for support. So let's get down to just under $25 and see if we can get a bounce down there. I think that's where the stronger bounce is going to come from.
Okay, I went ahead and added that MACD to the chart just for the sake of it. You can see that histogram is expanding to the downside. We really want to see that start collapsing or tightening up for the next move. So, okay. Really good stuff there. 13, were there any stocks that you want to take a look at? Was there anything that you wanted to mention to the group? Did you want to discuss the SPY, the Fed cut, China, any of that stuff? At all?
Well, what was interesting is that the National People's Congress over in China had a meeting regarding the state of their economy and stimulus, when to do that.
Yep.
It looks like the stimulus isn't coming quite yet. They're going to kind of keep that in their back pocket if Trump tries to wage a trade war with them. So that's what they're putting stimulus off for. But what they are going to do is they're going to help local governments refinance. They are in a bad debt situation.
Yep.
They're also going to help prop up major banks. And that's not likely to happen very quickly either. This could take months to years to unfold. So that's one of the reasons why we're seeing a lot of weakness in the China market this morning.
Okay, there you go. And we talked about that a little bit at the onset here. Good stuff about the local governments. I apologize for leaving that out. Thank you for plugging the hole there. BABA down 4% here in the pre-market, actually just dropped beneath its 50-day. So one of the things I was saying earlier, 13, is that we really kind of need to hang on to 94 here. If we don't, we have actually a gap below to 90. And on the upside, we have a possible recapture of the 50-day moving average here. Anything else you want to take a look at? I'm going to go get myself a drink so I can stop these hiccups.
Well, we can move on to some of the movers.
Yeah, let me do that here. Let me go ahead and bring up our movers tab. We'll start here with devs if you want, or LICE. Can be either one of those. You let me know which one you want to start with.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just do LICE because I don't know what the heck.
Me either. Is. I looked at this earlier. I'm glad that you said that. I looked at this earlier. I was like, what the hell's going on? Couldn't figure it out. So we'll see what happens. But let's start with LICE. 13, I'll be back in less than 15 seconds.
Okay, sounds good. I'll time you. So LICE, they just had their earnings report. And in that earnings report, they also mentioned that they received a large loan from the Department of Energy. So let me just pull up LICY here. So this one has a 18.5 million share float. They did a 1-for-8 reverse split on June 4th. They are currently trading above the, hey, that was pretty fast.
Yep.
They are trading above the 200-day SMA on this earnings print. That showed that they had a huge beat on EPS. They were expected to show a negative $1.32 earnings per share. They actually resulted in $2.15 per share. So that is the other reason why this is moving up. As far as levels go, I don't think I've really set anything up, but this has some pretty good juice here. We're above we've traded this before and we're above all the levels I have previously. So we'll see what we get out of the gate here, but that is a large amount of money that they got from the Department of Energy.
Yeah, and I mean, you could even see right here, this daily formation, this sure looked like this had expanding volume to begin with. Maybe somebody knew about some of this ahead of time, but it sure looked like 4 was going to be one of those levels. Now that we've totally snapped this and the stock's trading 515 here, this is at just pretty much right to another level. I don't know if you mentioned this while I stepped away. I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but this area in here from earlier this spring was former support and resistance, and now it looks like it's going to act as resistance again. So we're right at one of those spots.
Yeah, 522 looking at there. That's pretty good.
Yep.
We get up to there. Yeah, that would be the first resistance area that I can see. And if we get past that, there's a 200 EMA on the 5-minute that's at 611. We also have some gaps to fill on the way up between 580 and 635. So there's there's some good upside targets here, but let's see if we can get past that 522, which we're currently almost at in the pre-market.
Okay, there you go on Lycee. We can keep moving here. VMAR is next here. This is going to be Vision Marine. Looks like this popped yesterday in the after hours, gave everything back, and then as soon as the volume showed up, higher we go here. So we're actually building above the VWAP, which is nice. 450 looks to be one of those upside targets. $4 seems to be one of the downside support levels here. Let's see. We had this is the type of news that we have been waiting for. Vision Marine Technologies regains NASDAQ compliance. How many of these smaller junky names have we seen go through this exact PR and have it be in play one of the other days here? Looks like that's what's happening again. Ticker VMAR.
Yeah, and you also have, I mean, I'm sure this is from the reverse split that they did. Let's see when that was exactly. That was October 8th. They did two. They did one on August 22nd as well. So that was a 1 for 15 on August 22nd and a 1 for 9 on October 8th. So their float is now down to 761,000 shares as a result of both
from
those
10 million. From 10 million. So yeah.
So this thing is much easier to push around now. That short interest is going to be kind of skewed, but it still seems like even though the days to cover is much lower, I think that short interest still applies. So we are seeing a little bit of a squeeze here as a result of that. But this could be a pretty good mover today, given that really low float.
I was just going to say there, 13. Anytime you have a stock that has under 1 million float, it can almost do whatever it wants. Look, all it's going to take is a hard sneeze in the wrong direction, and this thing might take off from that. So we'll see. Hustle and bustle. Good morning, zippity doodah. Good morning. Great to see all of you folks. What has already been covered? The list was long. The list was long. We talked a little bit about the Fed and the SPY, but if you want to talk any more about that, happy to do that. I covered the DraftKings earnings. I covered Rivian still losing over $1 billion a quarter. We covered CGC, which is Canopy Growth Company. They reported earnings. Really the only bright spot there, Stores and Bickle, the manufacturer of the Volcano, the premier vaporizer and vaporizing products on the market, plus 32% revenue year over year. The only bright spot from that report. We covered the Unity earnings report. Top and bottom line beat there. New CFO, new price target. We covered Square's earning report, Affirm's earning report, Pinterest, Airbnb, the trade desk. Then we also took stocks from the chat: Baba, Roku, Carvana, Sezzle app, and MERA. So there you go. Happy to take a look at any of the other stocks that you want. 13 and I are just kind of clearing out the movers list here. And 13, I don't know about you, but I don't really see a whole lot more on here. Guess we can talk about Archer and SMCI like we normally do.
Well, there's another one that is a happy hour special that had some really good earnings. And I'm pretty sure Robert was on this one too, but we got this one from Andy Einod.
Einod. Yeah. Okay. So I actually didn't dive into that report. We're going to do this here together. Let's do that. Goodness. Okay. Right. I guess I didn't realize that the stock was up 30% here today. Big pop on Einod here. Holy smokes.
Holy smokes. We've talked a lot about what we were looking for in this company's earnings reports. And one of the things that was going to help this take off was a earnings report that showed sales above 30 million. I think that's when Andy sold, is when he got out after they initially reported that. And I think that was like a quarter or two ago. I'm not exactly sure. But here we are with another earnings report, and they are reporting, was it
52.2 million versus the 52.2 million versus the 36 million estimate.
This company is firing on all cylinders now, and they are absolutely killing it. If you looked at what they were making, their revenue was a year ago, you'd be like, wow, this is the same company. They are killing it right now. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody was really holding this anymore because the trade was over for us. We were trading this one. Gosh, we picked this all up down in around the 6 handle. maybe even lower than that, fours. Not sure.
Yeah, my first trade in INOD was $3.90.
But this company.
And 13, really quickly to your point here about the revenue, because you're making an excellent point, and I just want to attach some numbers to it. Since 2014, this stock has basically been earning $14 million in revenue a quarter, plus or minus $1 million, I would say. Mm-hmm. And recently, as of the quarter here, the Q3 of 2023, they moved up to 22 million, then 26, 26, 32, and 52. So to your point, these last two reports have really emphasized an acceleration in the amount of money and amount of revenue this company generates. So I think you're making an excellent point there, and that really coincides with the huge move that we're seeing here in INOD.
Yeah, and what this company does is that they are basically hired by a lot of internet, like social media platforms and other internet companies to kind of scrub and filter out a lot of hate speech and malicious content on their platforms. So this company is going to be getting a lot of business, especially during this time of year. So company doing really well, great earnings. Wish I still had some, but this is a great move for the.
Wish I had some too. And the way that I'd be looking at this going forward, 13, I'm certainly not going to chase here, right? If this comes back in, maybe we'll take a look at that. And see if that can go for another trade. AI name here as well. Definitely an AI angle on this one.
And there's Robert who was saying he was holding this one. That was a great play, Robert.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. Jane saying VMAR. Let me go back to that here real quick. Let's go back to the 1 minute chart here. VMAR will not get to 460. It was denied 4 times. This is what you're talking about, Jane. This 450 level is really kind of denied it. I guess it does go all the way up to 460 there. We'll see. This is the level to watch. If it does break that 450, I think we probably pop higher. But to your point, it has not shown the strength to do that yet today. It's just not done that.
Did you cover Archer Aviation this morning?
No, and I saw that Izzy asked about that, so why don't we dive right into Archer right now? It's ticker ACHR. Here we go. Looks like we're trading up a little bit here in the pre-market. What I'd watch for, folks, 363. That also happens to be right where the VWAP is. It's a beautiful thing. Yesterday's intraday high. Can we get above that? What do you got here on ACHR?
Well, they had earnings yesterday, and we talked about this on this show yesterday as well, about how this company, they're not, they don't have revenue yet, so they are going to be losing money. That was actually exactly what happened here. The expectation was they were going to lose 32 cents a share. They didn't. They didn't do as bad. They only lost 29 cents a share. So naturally, that's going to lift the stock price a little bit. But also, the big news is that they struck a deal with Japan Airlines for their air taxis. So they have obtained a right to place aircraft orders of up to 100 Midnight aircraft, which is Archer Aviation's flagship vehicle. That's Soracle that obtained the right. And then there's also air mobility services to Japan that they signed agreements on as well. So they're really gaining a foothold in Japan. They've also signed agreements in Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, as I recall. And of course, we have other agreements they've signed here with different companies in the United States, most importantly, Stellantis and United Airlines.
Okay, is he mentioning here that this is the one that Kathy loves? And you know what, Izzy? I think that is exactly why this was the one that I bought a little bit to kind of track the eVTOL space. Full disclosure here, I do own some Archer, but it is a negligible position. I own 150 shares. 150 shares from $5. So I basically bought just a little bit to kind of hang on to this thing. It's gone up and down. The reason I chose that is because of Kathy's love for it. We'll see where this can go. Also, I don't know if you mentioned this here, price target raised to 850 from 750 at Canaccord.
Oh, yes. Price target raises. I mean, that's what was moving some of these other stocks this morning. What was that one? Like XIII? I think that was getting a lot of price targets. So we did. So there is no try is really just kind of popping off here. This is the exact type of comment that I want to see out of anywhere in our ecosystem. I don't care if you join us for Benzinga Market Edge, Happy Hour, or if you're just a regular old pro client. If you're in our ecosystem, this is the type of stuff that I want to see from the group. There is no try. Absolutely love it. Sezzle, I'm effing rich. Tim Melvin just bought me a nice boat.
I'll tell you know what BOAT stands for, right? Bust out another 1,000.
Hey.
So it sounds like you're going to need another big time play here to keep that rolling.
All he's got to do is just take Tim out on a little fishing trip, and then I think he's good. Take him out on your new boat.
I think you're probably right about that. You'll also have a really great time, I'm willing to bet.
We're getting asked about the nuclear stocks like Oklo.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that here in a sec. I did really quickly want to bring this up, just kind of recap this here on the chart. Here's what we're looking at on Sezzle. Now, you can tell me if you think that there's some other resistance in here. I think $300 might be a price given what we're looking at now. But look at this move. Look at this move. Since Tim gave that to our group here. So really, really awesome stuff. This keeps going. Make sure you pay yourself on the way up. Looks like we were, 320? We were above 300? Oh, we are. Excuse me. We're at 317 right now. Beg your pardon. A little bit of a delay there. Okay. Really good stuff there. Love seeing this. Love seeing this stuff here today. What else did you want to cover here at 13? What was that one I just ran you over on?
I don't think you ran me over on one. I was just making jokes.
Okay, sweet. Just
I'm sorry. You're right. The nuclear stocks, Oklo and their ilk.
Okay, we're going to start here with Oklo because honestly, this thing has really been the best trader. Boy, 13, that trend line that you had me add to the chart, pretty awesome, huh? Pretty awesome here. Oklo, 22% yesterday. Careful, though. We got earnings on this thing 6 days. It's going to be next Thursday after the market closes. We're going to have earnings here. Remember, we've also talked about this a lot with Tim Melvin. It's going to be a long time before these guys can really kind of get new reactors and stuff up and running. But what do you got here? What did you want to take a look here at Oklo?
Well, it looks like it's just on the move this morning. Or I'm sorry, it was on the move yesterday. Now we're at that trend line. This is going to be a good trading vehicle, maybe for swings, but for investment, I don't think the time is right yet. And you were just talking about how these things take some time to build out and get up and running. So I do like the space. I like the idea. I think this might be. I mentioned this earlier, like last month, how nuclear might trade the same with AI, since they're kind of, they need each other at this point. Nuclear for power and AI for, anyway, they have a golden cross that just occurred here back on the end of October. So that implies that there's some more upside coming, but I still think that this needs to cool off a little bit. And we might, there's going to be some future setups where we get these drops and it's going to find a base like it did, late last month and into this move that we just had here. We also did the same thing prior to that. So once we start to get some weakness, wait for a bottom, probably provide another great trade. But I don't think this is worth holding on to for the long term because, as Ryan and Tim were pointing out, it's a long ways away from actually being profitable.
Okay, really good stuff there on OKLO. Love it that we're getting even more suggestions here from the chat. Our Twitch viewer, I love it. People on Twitch, let's go. That's what we want to see here. I'm accumulating Disney dividends for the next week's earnings and Thanksgiving and Christmas tourist season. Sounds like you're long Disney accruing dividends. That seems really good. 13, didn't you have, we talked about Disney the other day. I can't remember if you had a trade plan on this one. I know we're still kind of waiting for that 200-day to figure out where it's going to go here. We got gaps beneath, got a pretty big gap above if we can get rolling here above that. So you got any thoughts here on Disney?
Well, the price action I was looking for was to get above 95 and hold between that and 97.50 for a period of time before breaking above 97.50. We got all that. Next, we're going to likely test that 200-day SMA, but I don't know that we're going to necessarily break through it. Now, one thing that might happen is if we really don't get a whole lot of price action leading into the earnings next week, and the earnings are a big beat. Well, because of how crazy this market is, we could see another outsized move from this stock as well. So we might blast through that 200-day SMA if the earnings are that good and we don't make any big moves prior to that. So we could consolidate up here kind of where we're at right now up until earnings, which is supposed to be a week from yesterday. So
Tuesday, November 14th, before the market opens.
Thursday. That's Thursday.
Thursday. Did I say Tuesday? I beg your pardon. I'm sorry. Thursday.
Yeah, so Thursday, that's when we have earnings. It could consolidate up into earnings, but if it starts to run into that, I think I'd be a little bit more cautious about that break over 200. We don't want to see these things run into earnings. They sometimes will sell off after the print.
Okay. Really good stuff there on Disney. Okay, Andrew, I know you've asked several times, and on top of that, you have been patient. We will check out Road. I will say this is not a stock that I'm familiar with, so I'm going to need some help kind of figuring this one out. Road, ticker ROAD, is Construction Partners, and oh my, what a move from what looks like, is this an IPO? Looks like $57. Here we are, almost a double. This was the first candle data I have is September 9th. September 9th here. So again, please forgive me. I'm not necessarily familiar with this. Construction Partners Incorporated operates as an infrastructure and road construction company. I tell you what, this one should have been on the list for the hurricane season. In fact, let me add this really quickly to infrastructure.
Generac's doing really well, by the way.
Should we look at Generac here?
We can afterwards.
Okay, let me go ahead and add this to infrastructure because this is a new ticker that I didn't have there. It provides construction products and services to the public and private sectors. So, okay, huge move here. Let's see. Demonstrated robust growth as evidenced by a 13.5% year-over-year increase in backlog, which is awesome. Means they're not going to have any trouble getting business, reaching a record $1.6 billion, indicating strong demand in the infrastructure sector. Remember, infrastructure is one of those bipartisan things too. So I suspect that this is going to be unaffected by a change in administration. Mm-hmm. Giddy up on this one. Wow.
Yeah, maybe wait for a pullback in this one, and then
definitely. Hang on. I don't even have moving averages on this one, but yeah, I would definitely be waiting for a pullback here. You're giving me stuff to kind of look into a little bit more. I will definitely look into this. I'm actually sorry that I missed this here. Who brought Road up? Andrew, was there anything else that you had on this one that we should be aware of that we should discuss? Let me know. What was that?
I think we need to. I mean, I didn't know that this one existed, but of course, it's because it's pretty young. At the same time, I think this is going to prompt some of our happy hour folks to look into some, construction projects, building out roads, and maybe even fixing bridges. I mean, is this even a company that has a hand in repairing that Baltimore Port Bridge?
That would be a good thing to look into. The services cover the construction of highways, roads, bridges, airports, commercial and residential sites. So just based on kind of the general recap of it, yes, 13, it does sound like that. I don't know if that Baltimore area is in its market, but it does do bridge work here. So the company provides site development, paving, utility, and drainage systems, as well as supplies hot mix asphalt.
Drainage systems. That's the big one I'd like there.
Why is that?
Because we have problems with flooding all over this nation.
So you think that might actually increase the TAM, or the total addressable market here for road? That would be sweet. It
would be great for a lot of coastal companies in the Gulf that have to, Texas, for example, Louisiana, Alabama. You have Florida. Yep. Florida could definitely. I mean, that's probably a huge market for this company. Is Florida. We'll see. It's going to take some research, but I'm getting all excited over a company I don't even know anything about yet. So
no, but this is awesome. This is awesome, Andrew. What you're seeing right here is exactly why we want people to bring new stocks to the group here. We're all going to get smarter, and even if I don't have an answer for you here today, now at least I have something to do some homework on.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah,
appreciate
really
it.
Good. I'm actually going to leave this open so I can kind of research that a little bit later. Really quickly, we talked a little bit about the bullish side here. Construction Partners has experienced a decrease in net leverage from 2.8x to 1.7 over the past year, indicating improved debt management, but also highlighting potential vulnerabilities. The company is susceptible to weather and seasonality, which can lead to uncertainties in the future financial performance. Okay, so I think most infrastructure companies have the same headline risks when it comes to weather. Mm-hmm. So I guess for the next quarter, if we're looking at this for a near-term trade, we'll see how our winter is across the United States here. So, okay, what do we want to do next?
Well, I know that some folks were wanting to know if we covered devs yet, and we hadn't, because we didn't really have a whole lot of information on it. our news on this goes only back as far as January. And it looks like this may have been a SPAC at one point because of the way it was kind of hanging out at $10 and then it just kind of dropped off. I don't see any news about any acquisition of a company or anything. So I don't have a lot of info on this, which is why
neither do I. Yeah.
We covered this one. So I'm sorry I don't have any of that for you guys. But, if it provides a trade, I suppose we could just draw on the levels that we have available to us. But other than that, I don't know what this company necessarily does or what their float is or anything like that without looking elsewhere. So if you folks have something on this that you could add, that's for you.
This looks like decarbonization in buildings and EV charging infrastructure and beyond.
Okay, so Zoltan's saying it was a SPAC.
Okay, thank you, Zoltan. Good morning, Zoltan. It's great to see you.
We were also so if we really don't have anything to cover on that one, I guess we can look at there was one that I just saw. Izzy was saying DraftKings had a reversal after their earnings from after hours.
Okay, we will check on that. I do want to mention here, Jay Rice, I don't think you're here yet this morning. INDI, this is a semiconductor company that Jay was touting a while ago. It's really had kind of a rough go, but it looks like it reported some pretty good earnings today, up 30.9%. Good morning, Jennifer. It's great to see you. This might be on deck for a potential trade here, but I did want to highlight it here because this is one that Jay Rice has talked about a lot. Lunar, we've talked about that a lot. MCore, this was a buyout. There's really nothing going on here. Toast, this also reported earnings, given some of it back. But yeah, no, so we hit the movers, really. We did hit the mover. Upstart was the only other one here that we really didn't talk about yet. So, okay, the 13, I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. What was the other stock that we wanted to go to?
We were, as he was asking about DraftKings.
The reversal. Right. Sorry. You just told me that. I got the memory of a goldfish, bro. I apologize.
So yeah, their earnings.
The conference call is ongoing. That might be what the reversal is here. Good call here. DraftKings might go green. Watch for a red-green move here on DraftKings.
So the big resistance level here for DraftKings once we open is going to be that 200-day SMA, which I have at 39.50. We are about 50 cents away from that right now. I don't know what's being said in this conference call, but I think when we were talking about this yesterday, this is the stock that I don't think we would really want to hold on to until we get closer to the end of the regular NFL season, because they report earnings after the Super Bowl, and there's usually a run up into that earnings report. So we'll have to wait and see what comes out of this conference call if we get that break over the 200-day SMA. But if we don't, I would expect we start trailing down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, Sassy. I would prefer to wait for this to come down too, because I just for the exact reason I said it tends to do better leading up into their earnings report after Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Jay Harris, boy, really putting us on the spot here. Can you give us $1 million play in Tesla? Well, I mean, I'm not going to commit to being able to do that. I'll be honest with you. But this is kind of just where we picked up off from yesterday. We're really waiting to see what happens at 300 here, and Tesla here at 298.68. We might as well be 300, frankly. Do we actually pull back here, or do we break out? If we do break out, I've got 315 as the next level, then probably 340 in there, and then maybe 365. So that's going to be some of your upside targets. If we're unable to break 300 and this comes back, look for a 275 snap. I guess if you wanted to try an island trade, if we come into 275 and hold that area, maybe you could. We'll see how this shakes out here on Tesla. I wish I could commit to giving you $1 million trade here, but unfortunately I don't have that here for you today.
So 299.95 cents is we're not counting that. Is that not close enough?
299 and 70.
No, 95 cents. It was 5 cents away from 300. That's not close enough for you.
No, I mean it is. It is. This is basically 300 here. But what I want to know, 13, is really the next step. Not does it print exactly 300, but does it reject or break out from this level? We'll see when the market opens. It'll tell us.
I think the big issue with 300 to 315 is that you have this consolidation area that goes back. It goes back to 2021. So you kind of, if you draw a rectangle from 300 to 315 and just pull it to your left and keep going, you'll see all the price action I'm referring to. That's the consolidation the price has to chew through in order to break out. Once we do, I could see 330, but remember, this is like a $15 consolidation range we have to get through. So that's what I would be watching for, is trying to make its way through that consolidation.
Okay,
get a break of 315.
We added it to the chart. We're good to go here.
Yeah, so you can see what I'm talking about, though, especially back from what was it, August 22, August of 22. That was August of 2022.
Yeah, right here. Sorry.
Right
yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's mostly the area where I'm talking about. What's my new Tesla entry? I don't know if I would want to pick it up anywhere near here, especially with how extended we are. I'd wait for a pullback. So if this is going to come back in, I mean, it'd have to fill the gap. So it'd be like, maybe 260. And that's just me throwing it out there. I don't have strong commitment to
that. For the day trade here, 300, that level is going to be in play here. We're currently at 299.05, literally right now, 299.08. So we are right beneath 300. I do expect this to kind of pop and move above 300. Pop and move above 300. Yeah, go ahead.
Danielle is asking, why is ClearSpark or CleanSpark on hold since a few hours? It's a CLSK. This is another Bitcoin name.
This is indeed a Bitcoin name. Let's see. What do we have here? You said it's halted?
Is that what I didn't say it was halted. It's I'm just reading what she said. It's is on hold since a few hours. So let's see what I can get here.
Yeah, that sounds like halting here. I don't see any fresh news.
It is a halt.
Okay. So yeah. Check my halt tool. Did we get a reason there?
I'm looking to see if there is one.
EMKR CLSK. Here we go. Halted, reason not available. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, we're gonna have to watch CLSK here, but no, Danielle, I apologize. I'm not getting any information as you know what, 13. Let me check the Twitter streets real quick.
Okay. Because that could be pretty material. It might be halted for news.
But I think that our signals tool would mention that it was halted for news pending, unless I didn't code it right, which I suppose is possible. So here, let me see if I can find anything for you here. This is ticker CLSK. Let's see if Twitter streets bring us.
Just so you're aware, we have 3 minutes left before the open. There is no try is also mentioning Sezzle popping.
Okay, so I do see one person here saying no update yet, but it is pending news, even though we didn't get a report of that. Pending news.
Okay.
So I don't want to speculate on whether or not it's going to be positive or negative, but the warrant, didn't these warrants go bananas yesterday? Hang on a sec. CLSKW. Here were the warrants. And if we look at these were up 79% yesterday. The warrants on CLSK. So, I mean, given no other information, I would say that this is probably, I don't want to speculate because I don't know. I'm just saying, given no other information, given the performance of the warrants, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a positive thing, but I just don't know.
I mean, if you were going to guess, is acquisition on your mind?
Yeah. So, I mean, we got two possible things here, right? We've got an acquisition, which would send the stock higher, or we have dilution, which is likely going to send the stock lower. So I just don't know. I mean, to me, it just feels like kind of a coin flip until I can get some more information here. Definitely worth watching, though. And you know what? If we're flipping around to other stocks and this opens up, scream it out in the chat. Let me know, and we'll come back, and we'll go take a look at it.
Order flows trader NISN and ATPC he wants to know more about, and Raymond Sanchez also asking about AACG. I don't know that we're going to get all those in before the bell. We have about a minute left.
Yeah.
NISN, I don't know that we really want to be touching this one. I think the trade in this one's over. This one's been, it looks like it tried to bounce off the 200-day SMA, but it's being rejected by the 20-day SMA. If it can recapture the 20-day SMA, then it probably will end up going to the 50. But right now, this looks like it's still going to struggle to get above that moving average, even though the MACD looks like it's trying to push up higher. I don't know where this is going to end up going. But like I said, this might end up going lower because we've already had this trade resolved, and that was back beginning of October.
Okay, really good stuff there. Yeah, and sorry, I'm flipping through, or I'm going through this. I still don't see much more, but I did see. I did happen to come across Smoke Tuna's picture from trading from the middle of the ocean, which has made me happy here. So I guess that's the positive. Sorry, I don't have any more information for you on the CLSK halt.
No problem.
Okay,
We have 10 seconds left.
Here.
Yeah,
we're about to open, so.
AACG had earnings yesterday. That's why it's up this morning. I don't know anything about this company, but that's the reason why. And we are open.
You timed that pretty perfectly, honestly.
I was watching the seconds count down. All right. What is moving out the gate here? Looks like IMDI is looking pretty good out the gate.
Sure is here. Where's Jay Rice at? Jay Rice, where are you at?
Let's just wait and see what we get here, because we get these pops sometimes on these ones that run up, and then they just they capture a whole bunch of traders and they just go right beneath VWAP. 485 is the pre-market high, not too far away from there.
Nope. Lycee looks like that first move here is down.
Okay. And we just got to that pre-market high in INDI and pulled.
DraftKings, that pre-market reversal that we got, looks like this is trying to go higher here. David. Doing the work for us. David, thank you very much for this. CLSK is a T12 halt. T12 is when the NASDAQ requests additional information from the company. That's not good. That's all right, Jay Summers. We'll wait for him to get back, and then we'll talk about it. He's missing out, though. DraftKings here, first move higher. Looks like it pulled at 40. It's coming back in a little bit. I think if this does not snap VWAP, this actually might be setting up to go higher here. INOD looks like that dipped a little bit in the pre-market, but right back to VWAP. Boy, that thing is just cooking right now. Cooking.
Lycee all the way down to the 200-day SMA, and I'm sorry, 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Through that, finding a bottom here, or trying to. Looks like 450 is the next spot, and then we'll see if it can turn around or if it's going to go lower. So far, it has not stopped dropping.
All right, I'm going to take a small starter position here on DraftKings as this pulls back towards the VWAP. It did not quite get there, so I'm front running it a little bit, but we're looking for a pop here above 40 on DraftKings.
Indeed, this one's taken off after we whipped around at the open there, and we pushed up above that pre-market high, 517, now the current high in INDI.
Okay, DraftKings did not have to wait long. 40.5 is here. We're going to scale on part of that right now. That was a really good move really quickly, leaving a trailer on there. 1 for 1 here today on DraftKings. Stop set at break even. Cannot lose money on this trade. Nice little pop there on DraftKings out of the open.
Look it.
It's half of it's booked, but what I'm waiting for here, the move to 42, that trailing piece, we want to see if we test that recent high. We talked about that in the pre-market. Let's see if we can go ahead and get that here today.
Arista stocks mentioning SG, Smoke Tuna saying TN, Smoke Tuna mentioning TNYA. So SG, this one has a there's a much higher pre-market than that. This thing, what did this have earnings or something? And
yeah, this reported earnings yesterday, okay. 13. It was a miss on the top and bottom line. EPS 18-cent miss. That was actually wider than the 16-cent estimate. And I think we had some insider activity.
Okay, I think
those were options, though. Those were options.
38.50 is the next level I have in that one. If it can make it past this consolidation from the after hours. So 38.50 would be my my target there, the earliest target I have.
Okay, closing DraftKings here, just to kind of make sure that we booked all those gains. I'll wait for this to set up again, 1 for 1 here on the day trades.
Yes, Parker.
Sweet Green, by the way. This. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just answering Parker's question there. CLSK is on a T12 halt as NASDAQ requires additional information from the company.
Our teammate David was able to uncover that for us. Really good stuff.
All right. So LICY really getting nailed here. Sorry, go ahead.
AAOI. This is another one that the group has brought up. I should have. This is like Archer. I should have just grabbed a little bit of this and just kind of hung on to it because this thing seems to make absolutely crazy moves here. AAOI, big pop here. I think we had earnings on this. We did. Mixed report here, but this going higher. This was again yesterday in the after hours. AAOI plus 15% here today.
Oh yeah, look at Archer. That thing's going to its pre-market high of 375.
Take that.
Looking good there. Tesla broke 300.
Let's bring up Tesla here. Let's bring up Tesla here. That's a good trading stock.
We're in that consolidation here between 3 and 315.
Lynn and Randy, got to know, what do you think here on Tesla? What do you think here on Tesla? Are we just strength above 300 here? I got the VWAP at 299.66, so I'm not in this, so I might wait for a pullback here.
Costco getting mentioned by Robert. If you look at the daily chart, we are trying to break out of a resistance level that was put in back in September.
Boy, Tesla continuing here. Lynn and Randy, hopefully you guys grab that one. Really good stuff there. There is no try. Just try to stay calm, man. Just try. I know you're over there banking 344 there on Sezzle. That's what we want to see here. Tesla continuing to rip. 304 looks to be coming next.
All right,
DVAX, you guys were mentioning. I don't see. There are I'll tell you what. There have been so many stocks trading on relative volume since the election. It is wild.
Yeah. Oh, INDI about to push into new intraday highs. There it is. AXON. We talked about this one yesterday. They reported earnings after hours yesterday. This thing much higher than I would have expected it to go. We are very extended here with AXON. This is the taser body camera law enforcement company. So this also going with the we had that prison theme with the Trump victory. So Geo. Yep. Now AXON was also the one we were watching. So there we are with that one. Really, really crazy move here. We're very extended at 87 RSI on the daily.
VST. This popping out of the gate. A lot of pops here. SPY at the highs here, 596.84 on SPY. Doximity being mentioned by Robert. That's ticker DOCS. This had a monster earnings report yesterday. Actually, it had a little bit of a profit-taking dip there, but right back above VWAP. Maybe higher we go here. DOCS.
Geo also higher this morning too.
Yep.
That one just continues.
Apple,
and I think we even had a target for where that one was headed yesterday. I believe we were looking at about like 30. It was 30 something. I can't remember exactly what it was. There was a measurement though. Anyway, probably more to come in Geo, but this thing does need to cool off as well. 86 RSI on the daily.
PSEC, this is a recent closed end fund that Tim Melvin talked about. This reported earnings here down 13%.
Getting a question about devs. What's going on here with this one? Let's look at the 5-minute chart. Don't really know what we got here. I mean, other than this was a former spec. Looks like we just had that pop on what seemed to be no news, and then just came right back down. And here we are back at the around the area we were before. So I don't know what we are looking for here in DevStream. There's no news, and I don't know what it's moving on. Let's see, we're also asked about AACG. ATA. Oh, this thing does hardly move at all. Look at a daily chart here. Yeah, this thing almost barcodes. So it looks like it's coming up. I don't know what this company does, but it looks like it's going to have a date with a Golden Cross here, maybe before the end of the year.
Which one? Sorry.
This is AACG.
AACG. Let me bring that up here real quick.
Yeah, I don't know what this company does, but the 50-day SMA is just beelining right for that 200-day SMA, and we could get a crossing that's going to be bullish. It's also a good sign that it's over $1 then. So no longer really that much of a penny stock. needs to get over 120, and there's a 500-day SMA in the way of that. But that would be the next big level I think it needs to get past is 120.
Jane, can you repeat the CEF ticker again? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with what your CEF, Sprott's Physical Gold Trust. I don't know what you're asking about. Does that ring a bell for you, 13?
CEF? No.
Can you? Yeah, I'm sorry, Jane. I don't know what you mean here. Happy to do it once I figure it out. Tesla getting mentioned here again as we continue to push higher on Tesla. Wow, that was the move out of the gate. Yeah, oh, the closed end fund. It was PSEC. Sorry. That's PS. I'll throw the ticker here in the chat. That's PSEC. Down 12% here. That pays a monthly dividend, by the way. Tesla here continuing to rip. Wow, big move here out of the open on Tesla. DraftKings off that initial push came back in. Boy, are we glad we took some profit on that move here. DraftKings actually giving up the VWAP here. Interesting. Maybe we get back down to where this consolidated after the earnings report. You were mentioning Archer.
Yeah, that's really moving. And it looks like right about here at 385, we could get some resistance. We have the 200 EMA on the daily chart right there. So it's 385. Let's see if, what happens with that. It's already looking like it's pulling a bit here. Uh, 305 says Bigga Bees. Are you referring to Tesla? I think you are.
Yeah, he's got to be, because that's ripping right to that spot. Got it. Almost went to 305 exactly, and then reversed. By the way, Jane, you're saying I love closed-end funds. I added a little bit of PSEC down here. We'll see how it goes. Added a little bit down here, 458. Yeah, spot. All right, Apple popping higher. How's SMCI doing? Somebody asked about that earlier, but we never looked at SMCI today. That was higher in the pre-market, not breaking down yet. Maybe the downside is, I don't want to say that though, because I think we're still waiting for like 15 to 17 on that area.
Yeah, I'm not interested in SMCI.
Yeah, I can hold off on that too. Indy having a really nice day here.
Mm-hmm.
Holding 5.
Holding 5 and VWAP, or at least the VWAP I've got. But those past 2 5-minute candles, we had some pretty large upper shadows. So a little bit of caution, I think, should be exercised with that one.
There is no try saying careful, pullbacks underway. Not in Sezzle though, bro. No pullback here in Sezzle. This thing 362, big pop here. That, I tell you what, that momentum move.
Sezzle's sizzling.
Sezzle is sizzling. Let's go. INOD up to its pre-market highs or near that. 36 is going to be that breakout spot on INOD.
Oh man, I think it's just wild.
Yeah, it sure is.
So let's see. I mean, things are getting a little bit of weakness here. I think Archer, man, I really would love this thing to go higher, but those upper shadows are concerning for me. I think after this candle, we might see a retest of VWAP, if not a pull underneath it. India's trying to hold 5. Any thoughts on entry point? Let's see here.
Okay.
It looks like it's starting to roll over. I mean, we could get some support from the pre-market consolidation, so it'd probably be somewhere around 450. I don't know exactly where would be the greatest spot to enter with this one.
Is this INDI that you're referring to?
Yeah.
Honestly, 13, just kind of looking at the intraday chart here, 450 looks to be that, or VWAP look to be really the only possible entry points here. Smoke Tuna calling Archer to go wild.
I'll take it.
Yeah, so will I. I mean, it really, I think that it's just kind of chilling here under 4. We'll see if it breaks through 4 and goes higher.
That'd be cool. If it goes through 4, there's a good shot of it going all the way to the 520 big resistance level that 520 is a support and resistance level. It has been for almost as long as the company's been on the exchange.
Izzy mentioning Joby here. This is moving here with Archer. Archer, the outperformer here today, though.
Yeah.
Soar. That's a penny stock that's not soaring. Take that. I mean, I had to.
Mobileye, thoughts it hasn't really run yet. They had news. I thought.
Someone else was asking us about Mobileye. Maybe it was Virgo. I can't remember. Someone was asking us about this, and it was. I believe. I don't want to speak for that person because I can't remember specifically, but I believe it was whether or not the bottom was in.
So Mobileye signed a deal with Lyft for robotaxis.
Yeah, that would lead me to believe that this 12 bottom is pretty stable then, if that's the case.
So let's see here.
This was the other thing. That's right. Mobileye to host Capital Markets Day on December 9th and 10th. I remember those December 9 and 10 dates. So you're going to have a conference here. There might be some headlines coming out here on Mobileye. Archer continuing to trade higher here, 390 on
nice.
Archer.
It's pushing through that EMA, so that's great. Could find some resistance at 405. I'm in Archer, so I'm happy to see this.
Yeah, I'm in Archer too. Like I said, I'm in it small. I guess maybe I'm not sure if I'm ready to add to that yet for a long term, even with as small as the position is. Maybe it can add 100 shares here and there. We'll see.
Honestly, Mobileye looks like it's gonna fill a gap and go up to the 200-day SMA at some point. It's not too extended yet, so we could see some of that happen fairly shortly. But maybe there's going to be like a run to 20, and then it comes back in before we hit the 200-day SMA. This one, I like the way this chart looks. It looks like it's actually curling and wants to go higher. That's MBLY. I don't know. How do you feel about the daily chart? That's just the way I get from the daily chart. I don't know what's going to happen today, but over time, I think this goes up higher. Okay, here comes $4 in Archer.
Lion Atlas, when the trade works, you never buy enough. That's how it goes, and it's especially tempting with options here. Archer here, 4 prints. This expanding volume, this is good. We got the smoke tuna blessing. We've got the volume telling us that things are good here. We're right at this round level here, or round number here, excuse me, on Archer at 4. All of this stuff looking pretty good here today. Good start to the day with you folks. Good start to the day here.
There's a prize asking if Tim Melvin is still on deck for Wednesday. He's actually still with us, but just at a different time.
Yeah, so that's. I'm glad that you bring this up. There is no try. First of all, I'm sharing your comments with the team. Anytime that you're going to speak highly about people on our team, I'm going to share that with our team. Tim Melvin will be joining us on Wednesdays as he usually does, but guess what? We're going to get him in the pre-market. So we're going to have Tim Melvin on before the market opens, which means we're not going to lose any time to live trading. Should be awesome.
Lunar went down to VWAP and this the 950 level that we were looking at yesterday. This is finding support that down at that level, and it is reversed. So this could be going back up to 990, maybe higher.
There you go. Oh, you're right on that one. Good call here. Now I'm also seeing people mention Palantir. New all-time highs here on Palantir. Can I get a hell yeah from James Santangelo in the chat? Can I get a hell yeah out there? I know that you're stoked about this. 57 looks like that's coming here. Ticker PLTR. Huge move here. I got at this point, I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but at this point, this stock needs to stop going up because I've been long this for a while. We sold it out for gains, and now I'm having the feeling like, maybe I sold that a little too soon. I guess with the butterfly, you really wanted it to be around 45 anyway, but man, oh man.
What's the forward PE now?
Well, as of this morning here, it was 125. Oh, excuse me, that's the market cap. 136.9, 137.
Okay.
I know. 13,
all right.
I know. Real quick, I was not ignoring you here. What happened to my new? There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. I was not ignoring you here. Gary, I know we don't, penny stock's not the main coverage here. We had a lot of stuff on the list here this morning. That's the only reason we didn't get it here. But this is why we focus on our chat community so much here, because even if we can't cover something on screen, your calls can still be actionable events for those in the chat. So you did mention Foxo here earlier today. This is 45 cents about. That looks like the breakout level. Looks like we printed above 60 here. You're calling it for it to go to 1. We'll see if we get almost a double from where we're at here. Hey, there we go. Oops. There we go. What question did you ask him?
I don't know. I don't even know what
James, give us some context there. Nick out here booking Palantir gains. You know what that means, Nick? Do you know what that means, buddy? That means a registering. Hope you're holding in there.
Getting asked about DJT thoughts. The election win was a sell the news event, and I don't know that there's going to be a lot of other events that give the wild price action that we were getting prior to that. Until the inauguration. I just don't know what is going to drive this between now and then. Maybe Trump coming on and talking on a news channel or Fox and Friends or something. That might do it, but I'm not going to put a lot of stock into that concept. I think you might get a better move closer to inauguration day.
Real quick here, I don't see Glenn out there yet today, but in Glenn's honor, I'm going to answer this question with just check out the fibs. Just check out the fib levels, because here we go. We actually did come down to that 0.618. That is the golden ratio level, by the way. And we're bouncing off of that 30. Looks like the next spot here. DJT up 8% here today. Look at that move off of 27.
All I had to do was say something.
All you had to do was say so. Oh, and by the way, just to get back to that Palantir, James, thank you for the clarification here.
PE.
The PE being irrelevant.
It's not relevant now, but it will be.
PEs are going to be like that. They're going to be irrelevant until they're not irrelevant anymore. Now, what should Palantir here do? Palantir should probably split, right? As this continues to trade up, maybe split.
Well, maybe.
Or does it already have a huge float? Maybe that doesn't. Really
I think I don't think you want to split that. I mean, if you do 1 for 2 and you got 2 billion,
it's already. You're right. You already got 2 billion in the float. Maybe you're right. Maybe buyback then is the next thing here.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, buyback then,
or maybe even a dividend.
Okay. Real good stuff there.
That'd be a pretty expensive dividend now that I think about it. Maybe not a dividend. All right. So Trump all the way up to 30 and then reversed.
You mean DJT?
Yes.
Just to be clear, though. Just to be clear here. Okay, sorry. I'm clearing off some stuff here. Blah, blah, blah. Everything's looking good.
Archer hit 407, which was pretty close to that 405 I was looking for, and we reversed.
Okay.
So that 405 that I was looking for, that was a 65 EMA on the weekly chart. So we're getting a reversal off of that right now.
Funky Cold Stocks, $22 average on Palantir. By the way, Sezzle, $384. There is no try, man. Let me ask you, what kind of boat? Is it a 17-foot yacht, a 20-foot yacht, a 45-foot yacht? Is it a Bezos yacht? What are you doing here? What a massive move here on Sezzle.
Funky
Green
Cold
Day
Stocks.
for Jay Harris. Sorry for interrupting you. Green Day for Jay Harris. We'll take that. There's a lot of green in this room here today. I'll tell you that much.
Funky Cold Stocks. So it seems like the 22 average. Unless you were buying before that pop prior to the retracement, it seems like when we were talking about loading up around the $20 area, is that when you were picking this up? I could tell you the exact.
He went Jordan on you and took that shit personally. And loaded up on there. You've never seen that clip from The Last Dance where they were asking Michael about I think it was Gary Payton? I can't remember who it was, and he goes, "I took that shit personally," and he came back and absolutely murdered him.
No, I'm referring to when let's see. I think it was back in August when the yen carry trade happened. I think
That
that's
was
when we were
was
talking
that
about
August 5th?
yeah.
Let me see what day that was.
Was that when you were picking this up? Because that was a great time to get it, like a superb time to get it. Because that we didn't turn back after that.
It looks like he's been looking at this one for a while here. Archer here dipped beneath 4, but it looks like it's going to take that out again. Robert mentioned ERJ. This is Embraer, I think. ERJ. How do you pronounce this? Embraer. Embraer. They make airplanes. And I know this one because I've actually flown these airplanes a lot. They did a lot of the regional trips that I took from Chicago to Detroit when I was doing that a lot of these Embraer jets. They actually reported earnings here today. They were kind of light in the pre-market. The trading action was kind of light, but this thing ripping here after earnings. Robert, I know that you actually played this for earnings, so guess what that means? Yeah, we're just going to be handing out lots of register rings here today. It seems like there's a lot of banking going on. Webcoin, my Palantir average was $19. You guys are making me so happy and proud here today. I can't even tell you. Like, this is how I wish every Friday literally started off with the entire community being like, hey guys, I'm banking today. Like, that'd be awesome. Even my first scalp trade out of the gate here was a winner.
AAOI still going.
Upstart here, Big of Bees. You've been all over this one. Upstart, big time rip here. 13. I'm sorry, man. I keep running you over.
No worries. But yeah, AAOI, that one ripped all the way up to just under a penny short of 23.
Let me go to AA. We're going to come back to Upstart here because there's something I want to mention here real quick on that. God, AAOI, 26%.
Looking to see if Indy's going to go higher today or not. Looks like a lot of volume has left this particular stock. BNED has a setup to smoke tuna.
It's Barnes and Noble. Didn't even know this was still a stock, to be honest with you.
This one actually to me looks like it's probably headed lower. MACD on the 5 minutes saying that we're about to go down, and the volumes seems to have evaporated as well. What are we looking at here with this? It's set up. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. So we're going to need to see volume expansion here pretty soon, actually. And yeah, that's what I would need to see here pretty soon out of this one, is to see the volume expand, recapture VWAP, and take us over 1161. What you looking at?
Sorry, just looking around here. Archer still continuing. Let me actually go back to Archer here real quick. Here's INDI. That reclaimed the VWAP. Maybe some more. Oh, that's right. I wanted to go to Upstart. So here. Okay, so Archer actually still at the highs.
Yeah. Kind of consolidating, huh?
There is no try. I appreciate this. And look, the more successful trades that we have as a community will actually help this. But also, been working with the team behind the scenes. We're going to add some really, really cool stuff to the stream coming up here. So don't worry about that. Just keep supporting it as best you can. Keep printing money. That's actually what I should have led with. Keep printing money. We'll grow it. I feel good about it. Really quickly here, though, the one thing I wanted to say, some of these companies that are reporting earnings and having these gigantic moves here, here's Upstart. This stock's up 38%. We just talked about App yesterday. I think it was up like 46% after earnings. One of the things that we've been talking about, especially with longtime market veterans, they say when you see some of these gigantic moves after earnings, generally that's the sign that things might be reversing pretty soon. So we've all been kind of talking about waiting for a potential sell-off and all of that. Just keep in mind, we're seeing a lot of some of these outsized moves here. Just be a little bit wary. Don't be afraid to take gains when you have them. GV, what did this get halted to the upside for? Just volatility. Bang, this is going to halt again, it looks like, to the upside. Yep, halted again. GV. Sorry I wasn't on this one. Great stuff. You guys are, oh my God, we're getting more money being made here today.
I'm loving it. Looks like LICY is trying to turn around. Still looks like there's some time that needs to be given to this for it to actually do that. No confirmation of the actual reversal yet, but first green candle of the day and the 5-minute chart. Lunar, that came back in, still above VWAP. CLSK still waiting for that information about what's going on with this, what the info that NASDAQ wants from the company is. AAOI still not breaking down, kind of gearing up to try and push above 23, it looks like. And yeah, that was a good mention. Whoever, let's see, where is that? Tony, Yang time? I think so.
Yang time. That's YANG.
Yeah, if I'm gonna play any of the Chinese names, I'm gonna do it through yin and yang. I feel like that's just
okay.
The easiest and best way to do it. You can do individual companies. That's always fine too, but I think I'm just going to stick with the ETFs for now.
Tesla continuing to go here now. 308.50, 309 coming here on Tesla. Oh my God, what a rip. Oh my goodness. We out here, folks.
AAOI about to challenge that 23. See if we'll break over.
PRCH, Smoke Tuna calling a setup here. Let's get more of these high-a-day break setups. Here's Tuna. Let's get more of those that work out.
Here we go with INDI. We could get going here, looking to take out 525, the intraday high. And Archer, new high 410. Let's see, where's this going to go?
PRCH at 348 here. This is the one that Tuna just called. There's some size here, but this could pop if they take it at 348 here. PRCH. This actually could pop to 360 if this falls here. There it goes. Let's see if we pop a little bit. Don't make me look like a moron. Go higher.
Yeah, that's I'm just getting some chatter in the happy hour chat. It's crazy seeing some folks saying how crazy it is to see these analyst price targets come out, and then the same day the price goes there. These are 1-year price targets.
Yeah. 12 to 18 months.
12 to 18 month price targets. No, let's go there in a day.
No, yeah, just right away.
No time to wait.
PRCH here, after it took that spot out, it does look like it's trying to challenge this high tuna. This was a really good call for a setup. We'll see if this materializes. So far, so good, though. PRCH 350. Let's see if it breaks 350. And there it goes. And a nice little pop above PRCH. Boom, boom, boom.
That's a great call. Good job.
Tuna, dude. I traded that. I traded that right there, right off your call, Tuna. Tuna just made me money. Might have to buy some tuna for dinner now.
Yeah, James, exactly. Almost like we added a whole bunch of money. Almost like we just kind of flooded the markets with all this cash.
Futures popping off the Michigan data. Mike coming in hot. Good morning, Mike. Happy Friday. We're almost at Mice Down Drinks Up time. Morning, dude. Hopefully you're killing it as well here this morning. We've had a really good day here so far. Yes, you know it's a good day when James is out here swanging.
Good to see you, Mike. Big B's giving us the current Tesla level.
I mean, look, Lion, I know you said don't show Tesla. Lion, I just can't do that here, man. We got to show the stocks that are raging. You'll have another opportunity, and you're no slouch either, Lion. You'll be able to make that here. Selling too early. If you booked gains, be happy here. Tesla, another leg up post open.
We're just chewing our way through that consolidation I was mentioning earlier. So 315. That's the
Big B's.
Nice.
Dude, what a trade here. Let's go. This is one of the better mornings. This is one of the better mornings.
It's just been a good week. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, it sure has. It sure has. Replay Game Lab. People were nervous about taxing unrealized gains. I couldn't find anybody who thought that this was even a remotely good idea, with the sole exception of Mark Cuban saying, no, it wasn't going to work out that way.
Never would have happened.
Never would have happened. Mark Cuban has crawled under a rock so far. Look, I'm glad this stuff is off the table. We dodged a massive bullet here. Giddy up. Let those profits flow.
Even if Harris won, it still wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I tend to think the same thing.
You got all these Democrats that have positions. What, they're going to start voting? They're going to vote to tax their unrealized gains too? I don't think so.
James out here continuing his dagger throwing. You just love to see it. You just absolutely love to see it here. By the way, Porch up to that intraday high 356. This is a great call by Tuna. Wait and see if this actually breaks. I'm out of this one for right now. Had some money made here on that scalp. Jane saying October was my best month ever. One up for that, and November is shaping up to be my worst. You know what though, Jane? It's 8 days in.
Yeah.
It's 8 days in, and you've actually only had 5 trading days, 5 full trading days so far. We're going to turn it around. And if you're having a rough day here today, do whatever you need to do to pack it up, preserve your capital, and we'll be back at this on Monday. I promise we'll help you find some good movers on Monday.
Yeah, there's gonna be more opportunities. If you're having a losing day, don't make it an even worse day by trying to recapture that or revenge trade. Take the loss, look at what you did wrong, and take that information and go into next week with a clearer mind of what you're going to do, so you don't make those same mistakes again. I'm sure you're going to do much better following that once you've digested the problems you were having this week.
I'm going to it's a good call here. Daniel Torres mentioning that Monday is Veterans Day. I'm going to double check this right now so I don't misspeak, but I believe only the bond market is closed on Monday. Let me check that right now.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Am I correct on that?
The equities should be open. This is on the 11th, right?
Yeah, this is going to be, yes, Monday, Nov 11.
Yeah, so bond markets and fixed income markets are going to be closed. Equity markets should be open.
There you go. 2024. Yep. The next day, okay, the next stock market closure. Okay. The next day that the equity market is closed, the stock market that we're all trading right here, is going to be Thanksgiving, Thursday, November 28th. The following day after that it's closed, Christmas Day, December 25th. Those are going to be your market holidays. Here you go.
Thank you. There is no tribe for your service. Your name makes even more sense now because you do. There is no tribe.
Absolutely. Again, thank you for your service very, very much. And thank you for absolutely crushing it here with us every day that you show up. Absolutely love it. DJT halted. Are we halted upside down? Uh-oh.
Is it burning shorts?
It's sure. Daddy's back, baby. This thing halted to the upside here. 30.58 here on DJT. I have the next level here, 31.87.
Okay. After that, I have 33.40. Let's take a look at this approach since we're getting a squeeze here. Yeah, this market has already told us that shorts aren't safe. So here we are with more squeezing. I don't see any other reason why this is going because I don't think there's a catalyst. It's just that everybody thought, okay, like even me, thought, okay, well, the trade's over now that he's secured the presidency, and we saw this selling off. Buyers stepping in like, we're not done yet.
Yeah, I said before, I think that this is going to have all types of headline risk going forward as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. Right. DraftKings got a mentioned earlier. I see another mention here of DraftKings. Is this going to 41? Wow, what a reversal here. So interesting. So I actually was sleeping a little bit on this. I should have taken. Was it Nick that called? I can't remember. Somebody called out this VWAP cross here, I believe. This would have been a really good entry on that trade. I'm sorry that I missed this one. Watch now for a 40 takeout here. DraftKings, we actually saw this pop through 40 when it challenged it earlier today.
Yeah, the level I was watching for on DraftKings was that 200-day SMA, which was at 39.50. We blew through that. Now we're going to come and back test it as support. We're going to want to see support at 39.50 so that we can reverse and push higher.
Daniel, I'm assuming you're asking me, are y'all available by email? I sure am. Let me go ahead and toss my email here in the chat. You're welcome to email me anytime, as are any of you. And you know what else I want to throw out here since I'm giving out my email? One of the things that I would like from you folks is, I know we're starting this new show here. There's been some change with some of the programming here. Here's what I want from you. What do you want to see? What would make your morning more productive? What would help you make better trades and be more profitable? Do you want to see interviews? Do you want to see breakdowns? Or do you want to see more of what you're seeing now? If there's any specific feedback that you have, send that over to me.
We still need
cat videos.
Yeah. We still
this is the comment of the morning.
we still need to figure out a segment where we cover sectors.
Yeah, we do. We will do that. You know what? Let's work together on that, 13. That's a great idea. And Izzy, I'm sorry, man. I did not mean any disrespect. You're right. You were shouting out that DraftKings. You were shouting out that DraftKings reversal earlier. Shout out to you. Props to you. More option trading strategies. Ja, thank you for that. Let me you join for Anne Marie's show, right? Because I'll be honest, her option trading strategies are effing lights out. I'm trying to be PC here. I'm not really sure how else to put it there, but this is a really good suggestion. Ja, let me take that.
My detailed analysis of stocks. So there'd be detailed analysis for day trades, and there's a different approach I take to longer investment. So could do both.
But I was going to say, 13, don't you give your detailed analysis stocks on a daily basis here? Yes. The answer is yes. No, the answer is yes. You analyze in detail every day the stocks that we talk about. Real quick there. Okay. Lion Atlas is saying no interviews. So Lion Atlas, I'll meet you halfway. We're definitely still going to do interviews. We still have T3 Tuesday every Tuesday. But what we're going to do, Lion, is we're going to move those interviews out of the trading session and into the pre-market session. So we're actually going to expand the time we have to trade simply by shifting stuff around. That's already in the works. Just more breakdown. Britt wants the breakdown. I'm all here for it.
Okay. And maybe we'll have office assistant jump in front of the camera from time to time.
So this is funny that Tony brings this up. I agree. Cats walking sideways. So my cat does this all of the time. When he gets hyper, he comes running into the room sideways with his tail bushy. It is the funniest thing in the world. Tony, I'll try and get a video for you because that would be entertaining.
Finding levels, you need some good insights.
Okay. Let me keep rolling through some of these stocks here. Foxo, that penny stock that was called earlier, still rolling here, even after that pullback. INOD, oh my God, INOD continuing to go to the highs here. 38 prints look like they're on deck. PRCH dipped to the VWAP, provided great entry, and is right back onto the highs. Smoke tuna, I think you might have found one here today.
That's great. Todd has a great suggestion.
Consider putting a live clock on your screen so watchers can confirm we are. Todd,
that's a great suggestion.
That is, Todd. There, like I said, there is already some stuff in the works that is going to change what you see on screen. Let me deliver this right to the person of note. Great suggestion. This is exactly what we wanted to see. God, you guys
DJT open pushing higher. Almost
31.50.
Yeah, almost a 32. That if you look at the price action from yesterday in the pre-market, 32 was it was a support level at the open, and then it fell through it and could not recapture that. So 32 resistance level based on this price action from yesterday. What else? Looks like CLSK is still suspended.
So this is interesting here. So David, who's just been doing work here today. David, pat yourself on the back, man. Really good stuff here today. DJT is up on Trump saying that the rumors are false. He has no intention of selling Truth Social. Charlie squawked it. I'm trying to find that.
There we go. That's, all we had. It's one of the two things that we were just talking about that has to happen in order for the stock to move. He comes on and talks, or the inauguration. Him saying that, him coming on and saying that he's not selling shares, even though this is already old news, and we already know that he's not. It's moving the stock. It's squeezing. So there you go. Anytime he comes on and he says something that the market likes or that the holders of DJT like, the stock rips. That's all it takes.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. Just trying to go through some of those transcribed squawks there. Really good stuff here from the group. Mike mentioning that DXYZ, which we've talked about a lot recently here. This has been a huge moving ETF. Looks like we're up 7 points again here, almost 8 points now, 35%. My goodness. No, that stuff doesn't have anything in there. What a move here. DXYZ. I should have followed you guys into this yesterday.
Oh, John, it's to me, it's simple. SPY is up because of concentrations. You know, a lot of stocks are concentrated. I'm sorry, a lot of funds are concentrated in these. A lot of the big names like the Mag 7, and they're all indexing. So basically, things that are that make up the S&P 500 or the Qs. Funds are moving everything into those names.
They're chasing performance is what
yes.
they're doing. That's what he means by indexing. So, they're loading into the stocks that are outperforming and go up every day.
Right. And that only fuels this upside even further.
Self-flicking ice cream cone.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly why all these indexes keep pushing up, because every time that there's monthly inflows, they index those. Everything is just getting pushed into the same big names that have been doing really well: NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google, all those names, and some of the other bigger ones too. That's why it continues to go up. When this party's over and they start selling to move into other names, because we believe that that's coming with some of these IPOs that are coming next year, it's going to be quite a hefty sell-off.
So Britt is asking, but why? Britt, I'm assuming you're asking that like why are our fund managers doing this, or because they're looking for that performance, right? They're doing everything they can to try and maximize the performance, especially before the end of the year when people are going to look at their year-end statements on a lot of these accounts. They want that performance to be as high as possible.
Yes.
There has been extreme concentration in the market this year. So the way to make money is to just keep following those winners. That, like 13 was saying, just kind of feeds on top of itself. And there continues to be more and more and more concentration in these names. That only sets up for more disaster at some point in the future. Jay Rice, really quick, great to see you here today. I did want to shout you out here. I know we were talking about buying this a long time ago. Indy, your little semiconductor name. Big time move here, coming from a 350 handle. We're 5+. We've actually already traded this today. Might have another breakout here. Let me know what you're doing here on INDI. Thought about you this morning.
Brett, it might not happen until these big AI IPOs come out, and that should be happening early next year. So Databricks, that's a really big one, and these aren't. Yeah, that one. These are like $100 billion valuation companies. So the commissions that these M&A banks are going to be getting are going to be huge. But once that happens, you're going to see a lot of rotation out of these big names to buy those new IPOs.
Indeed. And as far as the timing here, we're kind of looking at sometime early next year. So January is possible, but we also had another discussion last night where the gentleman brought up a really good idea. It could be the end of the first quarter, which I think is March 20 something. 25th, something in there. So maybe the end of the first quarter, sometime I think early in the first half of next year is when we're going to see that sell off. But you know what? I thought we were going to see that earlier this year and it never came. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, 28th. This is the final day of March. So that'll be the end of the quarter.
INDI, it's been a pig. I still own it, not selling it. Okay, there you go, Jay. Good stuff on that.
Getting pretty close to the intraday high of 525. I saw Yang popped up to $70 before it came back in.
Real quickly here, Walter is mentioning this prop firm that blew up here. Fast Track Trading is the name of that one. I have no experience with this prop firm, so I'm not going to make a comment on it. But I do want to point you to a Twitter account that I followed for a long time that I really enjoy, that was mentioning some of this stuff yesterday. So let me go ahead and get you that thread for anyone that is interested in this.
Still banking on SPY to drop to 595 today. Where's it at right now? So 2 points from here. Where did we pop up to? made new highs, all-time highs.
For anyone that is interested in what Walter was talking about here, the prop firm that blew up, FFT, check out this thread here. This person is more connected to it than I am, and is in my opinion, a reliable source. So check that out, and there you go. It's my good deed for the day. Okay, let's get back down to brass tacks here.
Yeah, it's so interesting high of day. 597.50. You know, it was also funny is at one point yesterday, the high of the day was like 595, and the low of the day was 593, and it was just even. And I was kind of wondering if anybody else is, besides algos, is actually trading this market, because you don't have any sellers here. That's why we had such low volume this whole week, but we're moving up like over 5%. If you go back and look at the same volume that we had on August 5th, when we had that yen carry trade unwind and it bounced, we've had the same volume in that one day that we've had almost this entire week. There's no sellers.
A couple mentions here regarding the semiconductors. This SMH here, this is down a little bit. I think you guys were mentioning that some of the other chip stocks are down. Apple's still holding on to green here. Nvidia's down by 1%. Nvidia's had a huge run recently. This actually led the way up yesterday, so maybe it's just kind of a regression back to the mean a little bit here on Nvidia. Wouldn't make too much of the sell-off here today. Maybe just a break in some of those semi names.
There's just no sellers yet.
Chris, if you played hockey on Friday, you won the day. Hopefully your team won again. Thanks for joining us here, and thanks for your support.
Apple's going down, says Ja.
Real quickly here, Fairchild, I saw that you had mentioned this earlier, and I saw Voodoo had mentioned this. I just didn't comment on it. We're going to tie in another group member here with this. Switch to Fairchild had initially said, I got to stop looking at the 1 minute because the candles are just too fakey, or they fake you out too much. Switch to the 2 minute. It smooths out the quick spikes and gives you a quick trend, but won't push you out of the trade too quick. I use 2 minutes with 5 minutes, 15, and 1 hour, brother. Shout out to this. You folks that might remember when we were using Trade the Pool here, I'd actually set up a 3 minute chart because Smoke Tuna had been mentioning that quite a bit. I noticed that the exact same effect that Voodoo is describing right here was present when using the 3 minute chart. It's actually helped me. And Tuna, just for the record, I've actually incorporated that into my regular group of charts that I look at. So big shouts to you for that. 3 minute was the one I tried. Of course, Walter going the other way and saying, yeah, you try the 15 seconds, see how that works out for you. LOL. Bank of America on fire with multiple upgrades. That hurts my soul a little bit, as this is a former employer of mine. And I also had a bank account with them. They are, well, I won't get into my personal opinion on them, but it's not good. It's used to work for them. In any case, it is a nice little breakout here. BAC banks should do well under a Trump presidency.
Yeah, let's see. I'm just taking a quick look here at DFS, and I think it was the Capital One, DFS and Capital One. They're planning on merging. They popped the day after the election because I guess there's greater confidence now that merger might actually go through. This is, a bank and a big issuer of credit cards merging together.
Is this COF, Capital One?
COF and DFS. Yep.
DFS. Okay. Discovery. Yeah.
So those have been up. Looks like they could, hold this. If they hold this, they could go higher. They hold these areas.
Yeah. There is no try. I'm kind of screwed, man. Bank of America. They didn't treat me very well. And Chase, when I was in college, when I was a really poor college kid and I was home on Christmas break, Chase decided to charge me 3 overdraft fees on Christmas Day, where I couldn't even go correct it. I will never, for the rest of my life, I will never use a Chase product. I actually had to tell a mortgage banker to go F himself because he kept calling me so many times. And I had told him politely a number of times that I wasn't going to use a Chase product. But okay, that's just kind of a digression there. GV, this one also popping and going and just absolutely ripping here today.
Kind of just taking a look around, seeing what's moving. I also I see what you're talking about. sideshow. Archer kind of just sideways here. Looks like what?
I'm laughing at Izzy. He said, sorry. It's okay, man. You can bring up stocks anytime. That was just the first thing that I thought of. It happened to be a bit negative. So I apologize to you. I'll try not to break the group down. 13. Sorry about that, man.
No worries. Archer's still above VWAP, but the volume has really started to kind of lighten up here. I have VWAP at just under 393. Let's see if we can get some support if the price ends up trickling down to that level.
It wasn't Replay Game Lab. It's Capital One.
All right. SG hit 40.85 just now. Very little chill in that stock.
So is this possible to just kind of go green today? This thing was here. Let me actually measure this real fast. This thing had a huge move down. I don't remember. We were looking at it yesterday. This was down 20% at the lows on earnings and actually might go back to even, down only 4.5% now.
Replay, it's Capital One and Discover, COF. Chase is JPM. They're worse. They pay a pretty good fixed income rate. We'll give them that.
Boxo, that penny stock, that's still rolling. Let me get the VWAP back on here. That's right back at VWAP.
Apple is slowly tanking. I mean, it looks to me like it's kind of just in consolidation right now. Needs to lose 227 because it's kind of been above that all morning and in the after hours. Let's get a loss of I'm not getting a short report.
What?
This might be a BS short report, though.
Watching Innodata, J Capital Research issues report on the company titled Hidden Grand Jury Department of Justice and SEC Investigations into Innodata Revealed. Okay, well, I've got some reading material to go over. J Capital Research. Anyone heard of this? Jay Rice, what do you think?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to do it while we're on stream here because it would be way too boring, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do ahead of me doing it.
All right.
I'm going to use Benzinga Pro to go back and find the other short report that presented an unreal buying opportunity for Innodata, and I'm going to compare it to this one, and I want to see how many things match up or what might be different. That's going to be my strategy for analyzing this short report.
All right. And let's see, that actually happened when, like in, was it September of last year? Or was it February of this year? I think it was February of this year.
You know, we also had this data point on September 20th. J Capital Research issues report titled More Than a Promote, Mag 7. On Innodata, another Innodata PD. Are these the same?
Let's see here. I'm just looking
Boy,
to see.
This J Capital Research. I'm going to look through you. I appreciate you guys mentioning this, but look, 13, when you're going through Benzinga Pro, September 20th, Friday, September 20th, there's a link to that very same report, or looks to be a similar report. It's the same company. Sorry about that.
So it was February 15th when Wolfpack Research issued a short report.
Okay, February 15th. Let me go back and open that up, and then I'll have all this stuff queued up for later. Here we go. Wolfpack, here it is on INOD. There we go. Okay, we've got them all now. Oh, page not found. How about that? So that short report, you can't even read it anymore. What a shame.
I wonder why.
I wonder if that company, Wolfpack, is even still around after that. Okay, anyway, that's something to look into. Appreciate it. Not going to do it here and just read stuff while we're on stream. We'll keep looking for some of the active stuff that's going on right now. INOD, by the way, still up 43% here today. So dubious on how much that's actually affecting INOD.
Watch Archer for us for volume expansion here. It's been holding this $4 level pretty well. I guess more like a 398. But watch for some volume expansion to push it back up. It looks like it's set up, but I think that component of volume needs to come in here so we can get above 410. All right. What else are we looking at?
See, looks like tuna here, CMND. That's Clearmind,
Wow.
right? That rings a bell. Clearmind Medicine, indeed. Really low volume here.
Oh, is this the Magic Mushroom Company?
I think so. It is trading up here, though. Porch back to the VWAP. Tuna called this to be done. Maybe this bounces here, but volume not looking great. We've clearly just compressing on that volume. Let me check on Cleo here, make sure he's okay. I'll be right back.
All right. So just taking a look here. Clearmind is a psychedelic pharmaceutical biotech company. So yeah, that's the one. Don't know what the movement here is for. Not seeing any news. And iNod's moving back up. So I guess they're shaking off that report already, giving us a, hey, have a great weekend, Richard. Take care. iNod moving back up. Let's take a look and see what that looks like now. I think that short report was just a bunch of baloney. Actually, it's getting support from the VWAP that I have, but the MACD looks like it still wants to roll over. Volume's not great. Oh, wow. Clearmind just, that CMND just had a nice pop.
Did it really? Did we move it?
I just saw some movement right as you were sitting down.
Okay.
Out of the corner of my eye.
Oh, that is a pop. This didn't halt, did it? No. 149. Big B's Tesla is still going.
Uh-oh. Is it almost at that level?
314 and a half right now.
All right, let's see what happens at 315. That's the top of that that consolidation channel. It'd be wild if it just breaks right through and says, "Yeah, we're not stopping." Kind of looking around, seeing what is moving out there. Unless it's Tesla, it doesn't seem like there's a whole.
No, this Tesla move is insane. Bitcoin, by the way. So let's check MERA.
Yes.
Paul earlier was asking about MERA here. Bitcoin actually spiking here today. MERA looks like it's kind of following. Sorry, 13?
BITO, that one having a rally right now. That might go to 277. That was the intraday high yesterday. AAOI made new intraday highs just now. 2320 is a new one. Looks like Archer is starting to get some of that volume to expand. Let's see if it takes up us over the 410 level.
Great.
So it looks like that weakness is kind of shaken off. Get back to some buying before we roll into the lunch hour.
VIX continuing to get melted here. VIX down to 1474. It looks like the low print was 1466 on the VIX.
We're in a territory where we were bottoming out at following the yen carry trade. So after that, we had that huge spike up over 60 VIX. Came back in. We're kind of holding right in that area now. So either we're going to get a reversal and the VIX is going to go higher, which means the market's going to sell off, or we're not done with the market yet, and we're still going to go higher, and the VIX goes down to somewhere around 12 or 13 before we see a market top.
Okay.
Root on route.
Tesla continuing. Tesla's up 7% right now. That continues to print hard here. 318.
Yeah, Tesla just blew through that spot.
Mike says need a parachute.
It's not switching over.
Need a parachute.
Let me look at a 5-minute chart. I want to see that price action. Yeah, okay. All right. So this thing gets up to 315, and then it just absolutely spikes.
Yep. That's exactly what happened. And it is still going.
Just wanted to really get out of that consolidation channel with authority, didn't it?
With authority. By the way, Root here curling back up. Crow, I believe you called $100 on Root again. We're only 17 points away. We're only 17 points away from that. I have no position here on Root, but looks like that might be pretty good. DraftKings, we did get that 41. Yes, we did. I should have been a little bit more patient or re-added at the VWAP here if I'm grading myself, but at least that was still a gain here today. Boxo, that penny stock you guys were talking about, it is above VWAP, but look, we actually have 3 consecutive lower highs. think this might be dying out a little bit.
If Tesla passes 318.50, I'd be looking at 324.50 for the next resistance level. Okay, man, BITO really pushing. Actually, we're getting some upper shadows here. Watch for a reversal in Bitcoin. That might be coming here in about 10 minutes or less. Is this new all-time highs? No. All-time highs for Bitcoin was yesterday, and that was 76,981. So just short of 77K.
Okay. Sorry, I'm looking around here.
No problem.
All right. TNYA right at $3. Mark saying, new subscriber. We're happy to have you, Mark. Welcome. Great stuff. Good flow between you. Look, I bring on people that I work well with. 13's been an ace from the very beginning.
Oh, Lunar's moving. On what? Well, this thing is... This thing had went all the way up to 10 yesterday. I was looking for 950 yesterday, and it went up to 1001. 1001 is going to be the high to get past if we are going to go up more today. Got as high as 991 in the pre-market, but that's because we were getting some consolidation in the late hours of the regular session yesterday.
Tesla continuing to rip to the highs here. Continuing to rip to the highs. I'm actually seeing... This was from yesterday, though. Let me see if I can get... Looks like there was someone took a huge call buy yesterday. Someone was buying 1,500, almost 1,600 calls near the close yesterday for 297.5 on Tesla that expire today.
What size? Or what price? Strike, I mean?
This person, holy smokes. Strike price here was 297.50 that expires today. So we take a look at that 297.50 call. The ask on that 297.50 call right now is 1980. This trader paid 465.
Wow.
It was a $750,000, $750,000 were added to that trade, and that trade is a 16. That is a quadruple.
Looks like
quadruple overnight on this trade right here.
Looks like some of those calls are closing as we're starting to get some pullback here in Tesla. This is the largest downside move in Tesla so far in the regular session.
You know what I'm going to do now that I'm taking a look at this? I might pay particular attention to some of the unusually large option prints near the end of the day, because this trader was in here right near the close scooping this. This was a sweep too. This looks like this was just a completely uneven amount. They just bought up whatever they could.
Hey, Jay Rice, add LMB to
that. New to options, guys. Someone knows some shit. Facts, dude.
Probably, yeah.
Facts. Not a fair game. Hey, here's the thing though. If you can't beat them, join them, right? So if there's someone out there with other information and they're making trades that are large enough for you to detect in the order flow, then you can kind of follow along with that. And that's not a crime. So that's what we're going to try and do here. Nick, 35% close gain. Register ring, boss. Keep it up. Jay Rice, if you owned Axon, Tesla, Carvana, and App, you're having a good year. Hell, if you had one of those, you're probably having a good year. Glenn, you'll be happy to know, or I mentioned you earlier, I'm not sure if you were here, we had DJT earlier today bouncing pretty nicely. Let me see if I can find that here. We had DJT bouncing pretty nicely off this fib level. We asked you about DJT a couple days ago, and you said, it's just the fibs, guys, just the fibs. Here we go. The golden ratio, 0.618, big bounce here on DJT. This stock up 9% here today. Pretty good outperformer. INOD trying to go higher after that short report. Take that. Take that. Okay, now that I got that, and actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen cap this real quick. That is a monster unusual options trade, if I do say so myself. Now, let's see if I can find any more here for today.
Nice job, Nicholas. All right.
There we go.
Looks like we're getting a pull in some of these names. Lunar coming back in. Indy coming back in. What else is coming down?
Here's an interesting comment here. ADW Texas, some BRIC countries are using their interest rates while our Federal Reserve are increasing their interest rates, while our Federal Reserve is lowering its rates again. This could potentially lead to a carry trade situation. The reason that this stood out to me, I maybe you're right there about the carry trade, but the reason that this stood out to me is I actually saw an article that Russia is not abandoning the US dollar. Let me throw that here in the chat. Tell you what, that election seems like they have consequences. And we have Hamas wanting to wrap up the war. We have Russia not wanting to join or not getting rid of the dollar. Just saying.
What BRICS countries are increasing their rates? I thought China was cutting theirs. And I don't know what Russia's doing, but I would imagine the state of their economy, they would have to cut as well. So which BRICS countries is it? Is it India and Saudi Arabia? No, they're not part of BRICS yet. South Africa. Which ones? I'd be curious to know. Also, your bank lowering your high yield account. That's because we just got a rate cut.
Yep. And I think they said that was the second time, and this is the second cut.
Yes, it is.
Bingo, bingo. By the way, Tesla options are literally popping here. And Big B's, excuse me. I'm also seeing what you're seeing here. I am seeing some Tesla puts come in. Looks like people might be trying to play this move, just the regression back to the mean here. Tesla, maybe it did put in its high here for today. What a move. 319.44, the intraday high on Tesla. Good Lord. Well, we have another good day on our hands following a good week here.
Izzy saying on CNBC, DJT and Tesla are on.
All I see on CNBC right now is Sarah Eisen, which I'm not complaining about.
All right. It's kind of looking through some of these movers we were looking at this morning. Oh, wow. Lunar really coming down now. Excuse me.
Is it tipping over?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is tipping over. What are we looking at right now, folks? Because I know that it's no. Saudi Arabia is not with the S's and BRICS. It's South Africa. They're trying to get Saudi Arabia to join.
Big B's with a really good word of warning here. Watch yourselves because you can get smoked trying to play reversals and options on those zero DTEs. Yeah, those things. I've traded some of these short-term options where the bid just literally disappeared. Like they might be like 11 by 12, and then all of a sudden there's just no bid. It's like, good luck, you're done.
Be patient with who? Tell me, Mike. Tesla crossed the 1 trillion market cap. Oh boy. So that's all it needed for the put players to come in.
There is no try. This is one of the better days, isn't it? By the way, I'm looking at my unusual option scanner and it is almost all Tesla. Like it's literally most of this is Tesla. You'd see it rolling through here. Here's a really good question that we've talked about recently. It's okay, Art. Appreciate you. Here's something that we've talked about recently. Nike. We've talked a lot about this. So new to options guys, asking here, curious to hear your thoughts on Nike long-term. Long-term approach. I think there's a number of people in here that kind of like this long-term. Ask me again when we test this 70 area, because this is what I'm really waiting for right here. I'm waiting to see if we can test 70. If we hold it here, I think the next move is probably higher. We've kind of been in a downtrend here on Nike, a fairly substantial downtrend really since the end of 2021. And a couple of the sneakerheads that I am friends with, they will often tell me Nike, not the most desirable product, both here and abroad. So I'm not like a shoe fanatic. I definitely consider myself way behind the curve when it comes to shoe fashion and popularity and all that. Frankly, I rely on you folks for that.
I like Nike long term. Short to medium term, I think I'd be more bearish, but over the longer term, I think their wide economic note, their brand recognition, the fact that they are the company that the sports company that has the highest revenue out of any of the other ones in the entire world, helps them as well. I think over the longer period of time, Nike's going to be better. They just, I think they just got a new CEO. They're going to, they're working on restructuring and turning things around. They have their wholesales doing just fine, but they do need to execute better on the quality of their products. So that's going to be something that they have to turn around. I think what we're going to be needing to see out of them is a very big campaign to going into the next World Cup, which is in 2026. I think that's the big event coming up for them that they need to really nail, because Adidas tends to eat their lunch on that particular event. So I think they need to really execute going into that event to get their brand recognition and get their sales up.
Smoke Tuna here saying Nike not going anywhere in the long term. Again,
right.
One of the reasons why I want to see 70 on the short term here. And good morning, Amanda, besties. Lol. Good morning. Hopefully you're doing well. Also regarding UAA here, real quick, where was that? Jay here saying UAA, she's back. It's almost doubled. Screw Nike. Jay, never afraid to tell you how it is. Here's the one thing I will say about Under Armour. They've had recently, this was a great move. I mean, this, you know what, Jay? You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the earnings print in Chewy that really kind of turned Chewy around. The stock traded differently after that earnings report. Very similar pop like this. This is a pop above a lot of these moving averages and out of a consolidation area that goes all the way back to March of 2023. So this is a good pop here. Here's what I'll say on Under Armour. This company really needs something. We talk about this with Apple all the time. This needs something innovative, like that compression t-shirt when they first released it. We had a discussion in the happy hour chat yesterday about some of the different products like shoes and things like that. I've got a pair of Under Armour slides that I really like. It's not, what's going to drive this? What's really going to be the big driver here? What's going to break this out of this long-term downtrend here? I don't know if I have an answer for that yet.
They don't have the brand recognition or the wide economic moat or the wholesale to really be competitive with Nike. I think that's the big edge the big thing that Under Armour has trouble with is their competitiveness. Other brands out there, I like Under Armour. I actually have some of their shoes, but I don't think that they're going to do really that great with international sales, especially with the rising competition. They can't. I don't think they can weather that as well as Nike can. Also, their domestic sales here in the U.S. are kind of stagnating, and I think that they really need to do better in the international markets. We can go on more, but
Buzz Lightyear mentioning I love Under Armour socks. That's interesting. I don't think I have any experience with Under Armour socks. I'll try them. One thing I will say, Legend socks for any of you guys. Just tried them. They're unreal. App Lovin getting mentioned here. APP up again. So look, our floating island trade not happening. This thing just continuing to move. We'll see if this comes back in. I'm actually going to leave this here for a couple of days unless the stock continues to run away. But good Lord, after 46% yesterday, another 8% here today. This kind of reminds me of Palantir. Did we turn around yet on Palantir? Or are we still?
Let's go to 280 for App Lovin. Why not? That's the price target, right? 280 from Daiwa.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay, 280. That's where we're going.
Okay, 14 points, no problem.
Sure,
we'll do that on Monday.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I hate to be in jest all the time, but it's like the market's crazy. That's just what it's doing.
And
PRCH Tuna, your call on this being done earlier was spot on. You called it right here. It tried to get back above the VWAP, couldn't really do anything, and has now lost it again. Really good call there.
AAOI, this is making new intraday highs again. INDI, that's finally come down underneath VWAP. Oh gosh, Amanda, you're talking about somebody I saw when I was going to boat this week. Somebody was wearing socks with sandals.
Sandals.
I thought that died in the late 90s, but I guess not.
Pat, I did nothing. Just FYI, I did nothing. I had no role at all in it.
And what else are we looking at here?
SBET looks like that was halted and resumed. Okay, I was halted on the downside, looks like.
Sweet Green, new intraday highs.
We haven't had any new halts on that. Sweet Green, that's ticker SG.
Mm-hmm. What else here?
Boy, we're getting a lot of comments here on Under Armour socks. I must have been missing out on that. I've seen a number of you folks mention Under Armour socks. Amanda doesn't like them, though. Amanda doesn't like the Under Armour. I'll try them. I'll let you know next time I pick up a pair of those. Hopefully they get them at Costco. That would really help me get a lot of them.
Ja wants us to look at United Health, UNH.
UNH, let's do it.
And so new all-time highs here today on UNH. They got some really good support from that on that 555 level. What's the question or thought here with this one? I mean, this is pretty extended.
Yeah, I don't really see anything else in here. No recent insider activity, negligible short interest. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the thesis here is.
Have not seen them at Costco yet. What was that you're referring to? Was it
Under Armour stocks? Under Armour stocks, yeah.
Okay, maybe they'll go on sale with Peloton. That's supposed to be happening this month.
Branded stocks. Maybe that's what we need.
That's actually what. Well, they might have a little stand next to the Pelotons. And, hey, you need to, you want to work out. Wear these comfortable socks. But no, that's what's supposed to be happening this month. Is that they're supposed to sell a whole bunch of Pelotons at Costco.
November 15th. That starts. That's a week away.
Yep, just in time for Christmas.
I'm doing my weekly trip tomorrow. That's the 9th. So the following week will be day 2 of Pelotons in the store. I'll let you know what I see there, what the prices look like, if there's any interest, or if people are just running past it to get to the wine, which is what I do. Actually, I got a sick bottle of wine from Costco last week. It was a Stag's Leap, some special stags that they had. It was the last bottle that they had. They had it for a total of 3 weeks, and I grabbed the last bottle last week. We're going to open that puppy on Thanksgiving. PRCH, that was done. ACHR, we still trading that kind of turned around. How's Tesla doing?
Yeah, did Tesla come back in or what? No, it's hanging out at the 315. So that consolidation channel, actually, it just popped back above that. Went as low as 312.69.
Yeah, it looks like that. Didn't quite get to the VWAP. Dow ripping through 44K.
Yeah. Just don't know when this euphoria is going to end. It's going to be ugly, though. Well, actually, the Dow actually reversed and is trying to go higher. So it's been selling off in the morning. Been having quite a sell-off. Matter of fact, that's not the greatest looking price action following the election.
I wish I loved anything the way Ryan loves wine. It's a strong relationship, Amanda. It's a strong relationship. I don't know what else to say. Smoke Tuna, Ryan, 2 nights ago, I opened a 10-year-old white. What kind of white? That sounds awesome. Picked the wrong day to sleep in. AAOI missed out. LOL. Hey, you know what? There will be more opportunity for you on Monday. I can promise you that.
SPY, let's see, 600 today. The Trump pump.
Yo, so I actually mentioned this earlier today. Do you remember back to our happy hour last night? We had one of the members in there said SPY 600 by close on Friday.
Oh, and we were saying it could easily do that.
And guess what? That call looks like that might be materializing here. 598 currently now on SPY.
Hey, you know what? Don't worry. There'll be other opportunities. And, you know, if we're going to see market volatility like this going forward, there'll be plenty of opportunities. Just don't beat yourself up. Enjoy your weekend. You know, we'll come back here on Monday and we'll find some more of those movers. Matter of fact, it looks like SPY is knocking on the door of 598.
Costco, you know, it's a good day when Costco sets a new all-time high. So this little, oh my gosh, I should have added again. Who added right here? Who added 870s? 871.
You know what? It's funny because I even mentioned that at 874 there's a line I have there that would be the same area of support that the previous bottoming action back in October 2nd and September 5th we're getting. So here we are, and it's kind of funny how at the very beginning of the month that those were bottoming. So you have September 5th was the bottom from that first. You can see what I'm talking about. There's September 5th. There you go. There's that one bottom. Next bottom was the very beginning of October 2nd, and now we are here on November 1st. So that was a nice triple bottom there.
Yeah, and it's all at the beginning of the month here. So at the beginning of the month, get your money together, buy Costco. At the end of the month, sell it. That's pretty amazing here. We'll take
it going to 1,000. Likely going to 1,000.
Costco to 1,000.
Costco to 1,000.
Amanda, were you really adding an 870, 871? Because if you were, that's awesome. Robert did. So you and 13 were out here with the money party and nobody told me about that. Nobody, you guys are just using my work schedule against me to make bank without me. I see how it is.
I'm pretty sure we were talking about that in your presence. And I don't think you were I don't think you were listening.
Look, I don't even have to be paying attention. If I hear someone in my vicinity mention Costco, it's like my ears go like, whoop. It's like a cat. It's like, what happened? There's prey somewhere.
Raj G asking INOD, AOI, and ION Q. How can we find them for a swing before they break out? Some of it requires some patience. We don't exactly have these pegged when they're going to break out every time, but some have upcoming catalysts. For INOD, this movement here was off of earnings.
But just to answer Raj's question here, INOD, this was first brought to our attention way before any of this stuff happened. We were trading INOD back down in 2023. You can see what this thing actually did. This thing actually went to $2. We were trading this a little bit higher here, 4 to 5 handle here on INOD. This nice move, and we came back in, based, and now we're having the huge move. So one of the things, I hate to do it, I hate to plug it here, Benzinga Pro, our ecosystem, 13. I don't correct me if I'm wrong here because I'm about to speak for you. I believe that INOD was introduced to both 13 and I from a community member in Benzinga Pro in one of our happy hour discussions.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of ways to uncover a lot of these different crazy players. We uncovered this one early. My first trade on this was like 390 to 11. So, I mean, I capped and like, look at the move now. Look at the move now. So finding these things early. You can, this is why we create a community like this. And Raj, I try to bring some of the happy hour here to this show because I know the happy hour is gated, but to only pro members. But million different ways to find some of these things early. Then you have to watch the news cycle and the earnings, as 13 just mentioned.
Gotta see what Sydney was referring to about TSSI expanding in my backyard. OTC, this is some kind of development stock for Texas.
Which one?
This is TSSI. Infrastructure.
CCG Trader, how do you join the happy hour? You have to be a Benzinga Pro member, and we actually have a chat room. So if you look on the screen here, we actually have a chat room dedicated to it. Here are the happy hour members. Actually, they're discussing INOD right now. Interestingly enough, here are those discussions. This also is accompanying Zoom call Monday through Thursday.
And you're going to have to go through that chat and see where Amanda and I were talking about Costco, because we were actually laughing about it in the happy hour chat.
So okay, so let's do that here. So we want to search for.
Oh, geez, here we go. You ready, Amanda?
I forgot what Amanda's name is in there. I think it's A. Gibbons. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can search for symbol here instead. Let's just search for Costco.
The thing about Costco, I feel like it's really overvalued. But
excuse me,
so are so many of these things. Overvalued.
I beg your pardon. Overvalued.
We'll talk later.
You guys must not have tagged Costco when you were having your little giggle fest here.
It's a name from the guys who have a show with Z. What were you referring to? Is it something that I said? It usually is, but what was it that I said? All right, I'm going to look at some stocks while you're doing that.
That's okay. We might not be doing this for very much longer. Oh, look at this. Oh, here we go. I've got a lot of money tied into the 850 Costco puts expiring in December. Looks like you were shorting it. The plot thickens, as they say. Okay, let's keep going here. Looks like you were shorting it. Locked in some profit already. I'll be giving the cost chart the side eye pretty steadily next month. Shh. Don't talk about getting more cost. It makes Nightfall jealous.
Yeah, so I didn't say anything.
Well, first of all, I only have this search filtered on her.
Okay.
So you're getting a pass right now. It's so expensive.
It is.
I'll go along with the zebra option. Okay, that was fun. Glad we were able to do that here. Benzinga Pro Chat, shout out to the search function, able to find some of the smack talking that goes on. When I was definitely not around for that, by the way. You said it was in my vicinity. I was not around for that. I'd have been laughing with you folks at that time.
That was funny. Busy saying that DraftKings CEO said it expects to be profitable every quarter moving forward.
Okay, well, that would be... if that's true, that's huge. Okay, because one of the things that we were talking about in DraftKings is, when are they going to make money?
Well, they had a good quarter. Not this one, but the last one was a pretty good quarter. They showed they still operated at a loss this one, but if they're going to be profitable going forward, then we should see that net income start to rise.
Okay. Rye, your face made my weekend. That's impressive considering it's still only Friday. Also, not the first time I've heard that. Just saying.
VJ
it's like, I'm getting the hell out of here.
VJ saying Tesla's pulling back.
It is, did you really quick programming note? It is 11. I know we're waiting for Anne-Marie. I have not seen her yet. If we do see her, we'll get her on as soon as possible. If not, we're just going to keep having fun with 13 here.
Yay. So, I mean, I saw that somebody had mentioned the 11 a.m. poll, and I agree. Like, we're getting close to the lunch hour, so institutions are starting to wrap things up for that. Might see some market weakness going into the lunch hour, as we kind of do with the volume disappearing.
Real quick here, there is no try. mentioning Benzinga Pro might be a little too much here. All feedback is appreciated, but this is why you will often hear me say, you guys need to talk to James. You guys need to talk to James because he will find you a deal. He will make it cheaper than that. That much I can promise. Let me go ahead, give you his contact information. He was here with us earlier, but he's a busy dude, so he might not be here anymore. If you guys want to look for a cheaper price, talk to James. His contact information is in the chat. Email, phone, reach out to him somehow, see what deal can be done. It can be much cheaper. Trust me.
Hey, thanks, I appreciate it, man.
Okay.
And what are we looking at now? Because it seems like things have really dried up. Looks like maybe Tesla's getting some support.
Here we go. Thank you, Bigabees. Thank you for confirming that. James and Mike, you're absolutely right. James was one of us. Still is, by the way.
AAOI looking for 25. This thing has not stopped, really.
No chill.
Nope. And Clean Spark.
Is that open?
Nope, still halted.
Okay.
And it looks like it's been halted since yesterday after hours. Do you see that too, or?
Let me bring it up here.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like Tesla is turning around.
Definitely.
Benzinga IPO. Oh, we've even talked about like a Benzinga ETF too at one point, like a happy hour ETF.
Can you imagine how awesome that would be if we had a happy hour ETF that had all the stocks?
Cool.
Oh my God. By the way, since we were talking about happy hour earlier here, one other thing to remember, I think you mentioned this actually, 13, LMB. So we talked about how do you find some of these stocks when they're smaller. LMB was a play from 2022. The stock was $7. Stock is 95 today.
That's so wild.
I mean,
and here's the thing. This was part of a very, very smart theme. Because we were talking about cooling and data centers and and how much those data centers need cooling and HVAC. Going forward, this was always gonna be a big company because they specialize in that. But man, we were not ever expecting this kind of run.
No, we weren't. And just massive, just absolutely massive.
Absolutely there you go. Tim Melvin ETF.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. So you guys are talking about Benzinga Pro. Just to kind of pull the curtain back a little bit here on Pro, one of the things that we're currently working on, I'm literally involved in the ongoing project, is bringing a lot of the metrics and tools that Tim Melvin uses to find stocks. We're going to bring them to Pro. So you should be able to now, I see a number of you folks talking about the basic version versus the essential version. One thing to keep in mind here, the basic version does not include scanner. Okay, it will not include the scanner tool. The scanner tool is going to have a lot of the Tim Melvin stuff in it when it was released. But as Amanda was mentioning earlier, you do get access to the chat room, which means you get full access to Anne-Marie. And so if you followed Anne-Marie in the show here, you know that you can print some pretty decent returns off some of those calls. So maybe that's your gateway into the bigger level. We hope to have, I think, all of the Tim Melvin stuff added here by the end of the year. So just saying, there's going to be a time where you can load up Pro with having no experience to use it, open up the scanner, and then literally pick a Tim Melvin scan from the scanner. That's coming. Just FYI. I'm never at my desktop. Is there a Pro app? No. But there is a Benzinga app that you can access the chat through, and that is in the Google Play and Apple Store. So it's not going to have a full port of all of the tools, but you are going to be able to get some of the content through it.
Yep. The Lifetime Ultimate. Yeah, that was good. That was a good offer. Still looking at the SPY pushing up higher. Still hasn't gotten past 598 yet. Take care, Market Sniper.
Okay. Market Sniper, take care of yourself. Have a great weekend, boss. Thanks for all your support. Oh, look at that. Thanks, James. James, are you not able to post your here? Oh, yeah, I don't think I copied it. Let's see if I did. Oh,
AOI.
I copied James's phone number here.
AOI over 25 now.
There you go. Okay. AAOI. Let's see. Guys, I just heard from Anne Marie. She's on her way.
Woohoo.
13's like, my weekend starts.
All right. Still trying to look for something that's providing a good setup or a trade. Not seeing a whole lot. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Geo. But I mean, it looks like it's trying to turn around and recapture VWAP, but I just don't know how much movement we're going to get out of it in a short period of time. And that's what I'm looking for right now. These quick moves.
Okay.
Everything's kind of, dragging their feet. Yang up over 71 now. Did you need to?
Yeah, we're gonna go to Emery. There's nowhere unless I'm doing something wrong. So the Zoom is separate. So we post the link in Pro for you to register, but the registration link then emails you the join link. So you're still gonna need your email there, Tom. Still gonna need your email there. All right. 13, Anne-Marie is here. I know we're kind of running off truncated time. Any closing words for the group here today?
Hey, folks, been a great week. Let's not give any of these games back. Let's go into the weekend green, and we'll come back on Monday, and we'll have another green week. Take care, everybody.
Okay. Awesome
Bye.
stuff. And thank you, 13, for all of the hard work that you've done here today. 13 is awesome. For those of you considering joining Benzinga Pro, 13 is active in that happy hour chat all the time. Losing 13 opens up a space for our options queen, Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, happy Friday. How are you doing here today? You're muted.
So sorry. Internet has been just wacky today.
So I'm not sure you were here on, what was it, Wednesday? No, you were not. It was the day after the election. The market is going absolutely buck wild. I'm here on the show breaking things down, and my internet drops. It turns out workers at my house cut my internet line again, second time in 2 years. Thankfully, shout out, Comcast sent a great tech out to my house, had it repaired same day. So believe me, I am sensitive to your internet issues. But that is an aside. Now that you're here, looking great, what do we have going on? What are you seeing out there today?
Well, a lot of things to see. I think we should have a little bit of digestion in the charts. And so the question is, how should we look at it and see what's going on? So we've got a couple of impetuses, and that is in the Chinese market. And so let's go peek at some China. I don't normally look at China stocks, but let's take a peek, because they're doing a new stimulus, and we got to see what they're fighting against at this juncture. So the first one we'll look at, and the only ones I'm staring down are the ones that have really strong liquidity. And so let's first look at Baiynd. And so Baiynd has earnings on the 21st. So that gives us a little bit of time, and we can look at the way that the charts behaved over the last 3 to 4 quarters. It's pretty much people buy this stock and then they get disappointed and they hang on until it gets to the last near high or old resistance / new support, and they sell it again. And so this is the first spike that we've had. This one came up 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. 5 weeks ago, it had a spike, and it's been just running straight down. So the question is the following. Are we going to have something that takes us to this weird little higher low, or are we going to break? Now, have a look at this chart. This is a 5-year chart, and we really are at 5-year lows. And so every time I'm on the Benzinga show, I say, you know, any time these guys bounce, you should be selling. And so now the question is it going to bounce? And then will we see another sell from there? So that is my thought. My thought is a potential bounce. People are going to get a little excited about the potential stimulus. And then, you know, it's going to be the same crying over the, oh my gosh, what happened? And so I am a little bit bearish on this frame, but we could see a bounce. So the question is, what might we look at under this backdrop? So I'll talk to the person who's enthusiastic first, and we'll take a look. Of course, the earnings are on the 17th of November, so it's going to run into these following weeks. So we could look at December, anticipate that there's going to be some bullish action that'll push us up. Market makers, look at how much they're pricing in. 7, so that's 8, 3, $10. And the average true range on the weekly is about 8. So we normally do a 2x on that when it comes into earnings. So it looks like they priced it about right. And so that says we could do something unsexy like an iron condor. That's the first choice, with 100 as the top of the frame and maybe 75 as the bottom of the frame. Doesn't really give us a ton of premium, but still more than 20%. Remember, 20%. Can we see it?
Yes. Yeah.
20% is what we can stare down. So that holds pretty well. Let's say you're the trader that is looking for something very outsized. If you're looking for something outsized and they've priced $10, then I'd go $10 away. And so that's 89, 79. So if you're looking at 80, you could look at the 80, 75, but we would do a 1/3 by 2. It's 4 pennies. Okay, so super cheap, looking for downside moves. And on the upside, okay, let's see what 100 will do. So if we do 100 to 105, and we do a 1/3 by 2, it actually gives us credit. So what we're looking at here is, if we're using the option market's pricing, we literally could get into a free trade here. And I think it's worth the risk. So you might go, all right, Emery, what are we talking about here? Listen, at the end of the day, well, first of all, you couldn't take the iron condor and this butterfly because they both hold the 100 strike. So you'd have to do an either or. And I'm not sure this will fill on the credit. So you might go, hey, listen, I'll buy it for a penny. Let me see if I can buy it for a penny. Now, remember, every time you buy these things, you have to say to yourself, what's the risk? And so that risk is going to end up being everything you pay for it. So if you go, hey, listen, these are cheap, there, maybe I can get them for $3. Maybe I can get both of them for $3, right? Maybe $1.50 or whatever. And you go, all right, I'm going to spend 20 bucks here. This could give you a very nice move. So let's take a peek at, if we do this on a weekly, because we wanted to jam into the number and then for us to go, goodbye.
See you later.
Exactly. So let's see how much the pricing is at on the 22nd. It's 16 cents on the 22nd. And of course, it's because volatility is there. And it's 3 cents for the upside. So still, we're looking at $20 of exposure for a potential $480 of upside, right? So seems to me that it's a nice outsized play, and we're playing right into the market maker's hand, who says, you know what, we're going to juice these. If we're outside of the range, it's going to be a ways for us to do it. But if it gets there, we're going to be in the catbird seat. If you want to give it a little bit more room, because it might be a runaway train, you could do the 29th. But I like these. I think they're very low risk and potentially high reward. Now, if you're buying something for $2 and you're saying to yourself, all right, well, what does my profit need to look like? I would say, you might get lucky if it goes to 500%. But I would say don't look for the entire $400 move. I would say, hey, listen, if this quadruples, you just put a little checkbox. It adds to your overall portfolio, and low risk, potential high reward event. Okay, next one.
I want to see we had a suggestion here, but I want to see what you're going to do. No. What are you going to go to? What were you going to do?
Oh no! Now I'm like, oh,
no. Because I think it's good. I think the stock that was being requested is going to be the next one on your list.
I was going to do Pinduoduo, but
okay, we were close. It was BABA, but I think that we should do.
Okay, let's do BABA.
Okay, we'll start with BABA, but Pinduoduo after that.
Yes, actually, all those three were on my list. So
see, I knew it. See, so did Amanda. Oh, oops, wrong one.
All right, so here we are with BABA. BABA reports on the 15th. And so let's do a pocket range here.
That's a Friday, by the way. That's a Friday morning.
Interesting. All right. So obviously this has been sitting in a really wide base. All right. And it's in the middle of the range. So let's see how these guys respond. Up, continuation down. Continuation up, continuation down, a little bit sideways, and then up, and then continuation up. All right, so we're going to see the same sort of thing. Let's take a look. ATR says 7, but the range is way wider than that. And so that's, what, 68 to 118. All right. Let's see what's going on. Let's look at the 29th. So if we do a range trade, we're going to do the easy range trade. We're going to choose the 120 125 short iron condor. So we'll start with that one. Let's see if it gives us enough premium. It does not here. You might want to try that for December. For the trade to the downside, let's see how much. Let's see what the premium is here. Almost $8. This one's dicey because it's got such a wide range, right? If we're sitting here at 94, it's showing, almost $20 to the upside and $20 to the downside. So that's really the number we're going to use. Okay, so $20 up is the let's see how cheap this is. Yeah, we could do a strangle here. 20,000 up and $20 up, $20 down. There's a strangle that's 42 cents. Or we go to the December area since it has a tendency to run for a couple of weeks in the direction of the move. And we can go 60. Yeah, they don't even think it could go down there. So there are a lot of people piling in. Take a look at this one at the 75 zone. That 75 number is really big.
Yeah.
And so if we went, this one's hard. Let's say we hit the floor. Where's that floor with the, okay, 80. All right. So let's try and make this even. If we do 80 here, that's $14. Then we would have to use 110 there. All right. So let's see. We have 110. We're going to do the same 1 by 3 by 2 butterflies. You know what I just did, folks? There is some risk involved here because we have the 1 by 3 by 2 and they don't have it wide enough. So let's make this one risk-free. Let's go 105 to 115 to 120. This one's 65 cents. And then on the upside, we have that 82.50. Yeah, it won't give us that. So we could do 82.50, 77.50, 75, and that's 25 cents. So a little bit of risk on those other ones that we just did in Baiynd, simply because we have more, the spread is the same distance on this. Let me go back to the framework. BITU. Let's just be clear here. So these are cheap because we've got risk attached to some of these. And so we only can move in 5s here. I still like the trade. Okay. I still think it's got a lot of, I think it's still a really nice setup for BABs. Oh my gosh, there's actually an ETF called BABs. No way. All right. And so for BABA, we're looking at something a little bit more expensive. Let's see if we go, here's the 22nd, that's right after earnings. It's 36 cents. So it can move super quickly. Then it's not traded, sorry. That only works for December. And so this is a rotation over, you could do it 2 different weeks if you like. But these are, because we've got the split 82s and the 7750s. Those aren't available in the let's see which numbers we could choose. 8250. If we went, yeah, there's nothing there unless we did. We could do 89, 85, 1 by 3, so that's 4 by 2. That's expensive, I think, for just a range that's 4 wide. But it is something that you could use if you were saying, well, you know, maybe there's a little bit of a rundown and it falls into the pocket, but there's not a ton of premium to play with here is the big difference. So one more thing. Let me check 29s. Ooh, are we already at 11:30? Holy smokes. All right, let's check the 29th. And then instead, we use 89, 85. No, let's choose 90, 85, 80. That would be 23 cents, but this one would carry some risk. And listen, every bounce in BABA has been a sell for goodness knows how long, right? If we take a look at the chart. So, I mean, take a look at this thing. It's just been a train wreck. The times we could start looking at long action is if we break 120. Oh, wow. Am I gone?
Hey all, producer Aaron here. Ryan's power just went out. So he is currently working on getting that all fixed. But I think we are going to wrap the show today. I appreciate everybody coming on, and we will see you Monday. Thanks, everyone.